Good morning, guys. Man, oh man, this is the day. This is the day that I'm so excited for, and I'm sure everyone here at the office is for both Smite and Paladins. This is it, day one of the qualifiers. I am your host, Fawn, but of course, I have to be joined by my man, Kresnik.
Yeah, I'm basically glued to you at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. We're pretty much bound
I
together at
tried
this
to
point.
leave and he just pulled me in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's the qualifiers day
Yeah.
one. This is
I'm
it.
so excited.
This
dude.
entire year has basically been leading up
Mhm.
to what these teams have been practicing for, changing their rosters for, whatever they did to make it to this point. It's all led up to this, and it should be exciting.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, our very first game today is at least the Renegades versus All Business.
Yeah.
That's going to be something that's extremely exciting. I'm excited to see how both of these teams actually end up playing against one another. But of course, we have to look at the bracket. We have to show you guys not only what we have planned, but also who's in the losers bracket. But we'll get to that in a second. Of course, we have today, round one, SSG versus Flashpoint, Renegades versus All Business, Knights versus the Hype Unit of the Console League, and then Kanga versus the Hype Unit of the Minor League.
And now I don't know how likely this is to happen, but I really want to see hype round
Yeah,
two.
play each other.
I think it has a chance of happening in loser bracket depending on what happens, but still, I think we're doing the games that are not with the console teams first.
Right.
Renegades All Business, then Kanga, Hype, PML, and the console games after that, Space Flash, Knights, Hype. Down in losers bracket, the teams that lost in the earlier rounds of the console wars have that loss, but they're not out quite yet. Down to the loser bracket are Fatal Ambition and Cyclone, waiting for the losers of these first couple of games. So should be exciting, giving them a second chance. Also having a chance to play on mouse and keyboard. Maybe
Right,
some of them
true.
are practicing with that for the bracket. I think they have a chance of getting far, but definitely a long road ahead for any team that wants to qualify into the World Championships.
Yeah, and I'm extremely glad that you mentioned that as well. Once again, today they did indeed have the choice to choose on controller or mouse and keyboard, and a lot of these players, especially the minor league and console players, are choosing mouse and keyboard.
I hope the minor league teams are choosing
well,
mouse
well, I
and
mean,
keyboard.
yeah. Well, I mean, still, it's
All right,
a matter
we're here, guys. It's time.
at
Bust out the sticks. We're ready.
At the same time, though, Renegades, we're going to take a look at them, of course. I mean, you guys know them. You guys love them. It's the Renegades. I mean, they are about to play their very first match of this morning, of today. I'm super, super excited to see how they're going to be able to fare against All Business, because All Business is definitely not a team that you would sleep on. But in Vocal Man, I mean, he has such amazing performances time and time again on this DPS role.
Yeah, and he's definitely been a standout player for Renegades from the start, for sure. What's the thing we always say? When the game's over, we look at the stats, we're like, wow, if we just looked at Vocal stats, maybe Renegades would have won the game. You know,
Yeah.
if that was it, he always managed to perform. Also, one of the most flexible DPSs, I would say, around, just in general. He's been a top-tier blaster. He's been a top-tier hit-scan DPS, and not a lot of people can claim that. But he managed to, and always putting on a good performance no matter what the team has to put him on.
Yeah, I mean, he is such a flexible player. We see him range from so many different things, man. I mean, this player is so phenomenal, and I'm glad I mentioned the flexibility. Look at this. Moving from Kinessa to Ashe, that is no small feat for people to actually be able to pull off. And I mean, man, oh man, you just see the performance it is that he can always have, can be dominating sometimes.
Yeah, and it's definitely a big part of what helps Renegades succeed. I think their DPS line has been the star for them throughout, even with the record that they ended up with throughout the season. They always do manage to perform, for sure. And it's going to be tough, I think, heading into this bracket. Depending on how they end up, they could have to play against these PPL teams that they don't really have the best record against to qualify, depending on how some of the games go. One upset in the bracket, and they could be facing a team that they have a 0-3, 0-4 record for, just to qualify into the World Championships.
Right, and they have to play this extremely well and be careful with how this match ends up going, because I'm glad that you mentioned that point. That is true. They could end up going up against some of these Titans. If they do also end up getting knocked out, they could end up playing against teams that they may not have the best record against, and that's going to be really, really detrimental to Renegades' life in the qualifier round, and also throughout their tournament life, if they want to be able to move on and continually press forward. But All Business, of course, we got to talk about their opponents, baby. I mean, it's the Paladins minor league. I'm super excited to see them. Here they are. There they are.
And oh yeah, EUPML, they have a lot to live up for, you know?
Yeah.
After how Penta took the entirety of MSI coming in from there. They are playing with a couple substitutes. Bugsy and Close are both not here. I believe Madara and Devozy are subbing in for them. But throughout their season, they had some strong performances across the board. I think they only lost really early in the season against One Trick Pony, I believe, from European PML. But throughout the board, I think their tank line has been pretty strong for them. Toot Toot on that on that off tank, flexing from that blaster roll from a while ago at this point.
Yeah.
But putting on a great performance, being really, really aggressive, just oppressive to the other team. So hard to deal with. European tanks, I think, have always been what people look to, the region people look to for tank play a lot of the time, and I think Tutu kind of shows why.
Yeah. I mean, you put him on these characters like Makoa, like as we see right here. I mean, putting him on one of the power tanks, if he was already aggressive, you can see the performance it is that he's having, the pressure that he could put on against so many different people. And you have to be careful about that, especially in the off-tank role. 1 minute it is you're fighting somebody, the next minute it is that you just see, I don't know, maybe like a Khan, an Ashe, anybody just in your back line, ready to apply that pressure with another one of their damage rolls. And Tutu is so good at doing that. You have to be careful against this guy. There's part of the reason why. He's in orange, he messed up 2 people, and you got to be careful around him.
Yeah, he's always in the right place to follow up, but I think having played DPS before helps him with that a lot. We've seen a decent amount of DPS to tank flexes go pretty well, so hopefully for him it'll continue to go that way as they face could be one of the harder challenges for them yet. First land for this all business roster is a core, right? So playing against the Renegades, yeah, the record might not be the best from the PPL, but that's against the best of the best, and these teams are fighting to have a chance to contest with them, right?
Right.
So Renegades are still going to be a tough opponent for any of these teams coming into this LAN environment for the first time.
Right, exactly. I mean, they are, even though they are, you know, bottom of the sea, Renegades are still a very powerful team. You do have to be careful around them, especially, like you said, this is all businesses, one of their first LANs it is they actually are here.
As a core, yeah.
Yeah, as a core, they can actually be able to fight back against them. But, of course, the map bans, Shattered Desert, Frog Isle, all business gets rid of Frog Isle, Renegades get rid of Shattered Desert, and then you close that out with the Warder's Gate on Renegade's side and a Timber Mill on all businesses' side.
Not surprised that Renegades banned Shattered. I honestly think they've been doing that since they lost that one game to SSG.
I knew what you were talking about.
On Fernando solo tank, but either way, some wider maps not going to be in, and we're going to be starting on Splitstone Quarry. Looks like, judging by the screen behind me, it is Renegades' first pick. So interesting that they'd want to start here. I think it's been a map that's been all right for them. Plays into the way they want to play pretty well. It's a map where you can just throw Invocal on Victor and just let him do Invocal things throughout. So we'll have to see how they want to draft it. And Willow is super strong in this map, so I'm not surprised that she is the first one taken out. Yeah,
Willow, once again, like you just mentioned, is going to be gone. All business take care of that Victor. It's funny that you mentioned the Victor before. I mean, Invocal has flexed on that character before. He has played him, so they, in response, get rid of that. Renegades going to be able to round things out on their ban phase with the Atlas. And all business are going to follow that up, with the Makoa. Don't want to give Renegades a first pick to that for sure.
One thing I want to mention before this first pick comes in is that these subs coming in, I looked up some of the subs that were coming in for all business, and they actually have some experience playing together. Earlier in this year, Madara, Devozi, and I believe Xenost were all together on a team called Rasvet, which is, I believe, Sunrise in Russian. They played earlier in the minor league together, so they have some experience. As a unit, these subs, so it's not like they're starting fresh from zero, right? They have a little bit of play time together. Hopefully, for their sake, that'll kind of help them move forward through this bracket, fight the Cowboys on the other side of the board, Renegades. Renegades have taken their first pick in, and it will be Strix, I think, to the surprise of nobody, with him still being open. Very, very strong. And on this map, there's some places you can play that are just so hard to contest as a backline, and an uncontested Strix is more or less a one game.
Yeah.
I will fight to protect the sanctity of the wild.
Going to be who all business are responding with. You've got both frontliners, you've got your point tank, you've got your off tank. You have the ability to be able to put on a lot of pressure around the objective as well as off of the objective. And having that added overpower, of course. I mean, Seismic Crash is a good ultimate as well, but of course, Khan can overpower literally anyone. So Strix has to be careful about that. If he's causing a problem, of course, Khan will be able to be on the lookout for him or any priority target they might need. Shadow looks like he might be on this Eevee. And that's what they're thinking about. Of course, they still have another character pick that they can choose, but it's a matter of what they want to go. What can you see after that, Eevee?
Should be their support, I think, with both tanks locked in for all business. Unless you think they're going to go triple tank, you just want to take your support now. Make sure that they don't get what they could potentially want. Furia could be a good option for Renegades here, I think, letting that Eevee get aggressive. But Eric instead, to stay flexible in that, if they decide to go that way, is what ends up being finally locked. Strix Eevee is a fantastic DPS line, I think, especially for the Renegades. And giving Hero Barrack is pretty big too. We know he's had some pretty solid performances, and getting the carry point tank is a good way to hope to set him up to have another performance like that.
Right. I mean, Grover seems like that's who they're considering for all businesses side as their support, and they're thinking about it as well. I mean, once again, they've got 2 picks as well following up for that, but they're just hovering the Grover right now. Cassie is going to be who they are looking at. And does that tell you that they might be trying to put a lot more emphasis around trying to control the objective with that Anar? Because you can't really
this has to be a quarry composition.
Right, exactly.
At this point.
Exactly.
They're gonna be sitting inside, poking out with the Cassie, with the Grover, just getting a little bit of damage that way. And Renegades, I mean, look at their comp. They're not fighting inside quarry.
Right.
They'll dive inside quarry maybe for a little bit of poke, but Barrack, Ashe with a Genos boost, not super sustainable. Strix, Eevee. Strix isn't going in there. There's, I mean, maybe for a little bit, but he's not living very long if he does. And Eevee's going to be poking and prodding from the outside. So all business are going to be very grouped up inside, playing a little bit slowly, playing off of their Grover heals. Renegades are just going to be trying to sow chaos, if this is what they end up with, right? Maybe they make a change at this point. But they have a solid draft if they do lock all this in. Ashe is going to be a great aggressive tank. Assert Dominance, so impactful at locking down an area. Also, they have the combo, too. Assert Dominance through time and space to execute onto the enemy backline. Always going to be good.
Stay close and follow my
what
lead.
all business wants to respond with. My guess would be Maeve. Something to duel the Eevee, maybe even Buck if you want to have purely that duel potential. A little bit of time left to see.
Right, well, it is going to be Maeve, at least as far as that we can see. For, of course, 13 seconds that are remaining and bank time on top of that if they really want to take that long to consider. But Maeve is being hovered as the final lock-in for all business, and it is going to be that. They've got the Anar, Khan, Grover, Cassie, Maeve. Like you were saying, this is a very quarry-based composition. As opposed to the Renegades, Strix, Eevee, Barrett, Genos, Ashe. Whose composition do you like more? I'm personally a fan of the Renegades. Me personally.
It's hard to side against Strix, but I feel like if all business executes their draft properly, they have a chance to play around it. If they just don't peek outside a quarry, if they control that objective as well as they can with that, it could work out. I think it's a lot of pressure on whatever DPS is playing Maeve. They need to be able to lock down the Eevee without peeking those sniper sightlines.
Here we go, guys. The very first game, the very first set of day one of the qualifiers. I'm so excited, so I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. We're going to throw it down to the casters so we can get this game started.
Thank you very much, Fawn. Renegades and all business about to kick off. And Gormizer, if there are upsets kind of on this day one, these first couple of matches is maybe where you would expect to see them. They're your bottom-seeded PPL teams, your top-seeded minor league teams. Renegades have won 4 sets in all of 2019, so if they win this one, this is now one of 5 sets they've won in 2019. You maybe still give them the edge, though.
I think they have it. So it's one of those things, and we actually got to talk to them not too long ago, and they kind of mentioned it, where they're just like, there's still enough of a gap between PPL and PML that they think they still have an edge. Personally, I agree with them on that aspect. They are constantly playing the best in the world, so you have to think some of that has to manifest in some way. And if you look at this draft, I mean, Strix, Eevee, Barrett, Genos, Ashe. If you asked me on any day what champions I would try to give all 5 members of Renegades, that's it. Those are the 5 that you would want them on. Maybe you are trying to trade out the Strix for the Victor, depending on the map for Invocal, but this is a kind of scary good draft for them. It fits them so well.
I agree. I'm scared of Invocal on Strix. I think Shadow, if he gets to be feeling himself on Eevee, that's a big momentum shift maybe to their side. And then you look at all business as well, a different roster kind of from what they've qualified with, a couple different members slotting in here. I imagine, they've been scrimming with those guys, but maybe a different look for the Renegades here, without Bugsy, definitely a different look at this all business side.
It's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to it. Bugsy is one of the most flexible players in the world, and when it comes down to it, you just can't strip that away from him. He's also one of those players that knows he's the most flexible and knows he's really good at it, and so I wonder how that dynamic's going to shift.
Right.
Like, you're coming into it with a guy who just knows he is one of the best.
Right.
Now you're not. Like, you're not playing with him. You don't have him there.
Right.
And I think a lot of it comes down to what you had pointed out, how well all business are feeling kind of with this roster that they've been scrimming with but not playing through the last few weeks of the season. And Renegades, who admittedly it seems like every other week come in with a completely different emotional strategy behind them. I mean, this team beat Na'Vi earlier this year.
I don't know, man. Because that was, 1 or 2 weeks into the second split of the PPL. And that's just I feel like that's what we've been grasping onto with the Renegades, because they started off, still kind of 50%, lost some sets, won some big ones over Na'Vi, and then kind of that downhill trend towards the end of this split, constantly, week after week, we're like, where's the team that beat Na'Vi? I mean, we were holding on to that week after week, and we haven't seen it yet.
No.
This is a big matchup for them. You bring it up emotionally. I think if maybe they get some stuff rolling, if the confidence starts flowing, they maybe have an easier time this week. If they have struggles early on in this placement week, things could maybe shift for them.
So when you look at data points, there's always like with Renegades, there's a clump of losses, right? And they have those few outliers that are like big, incredible wins.
Yep.
And most of the time when you look at that, you just ignore the outliers. That's typically how you get the average. Their average is loss. That's what they do. And unfortunately for them, it hurts to hear it, I'm assuming. But this is one of those moments where if you look at, week 1, phase 1, week 1, phase 2, they come in kind of bright-eyed. They do things that they hadn't done at the end of phase 1 or at the end of phase 2 we got to see. I want that Renegades to show up this week. Like, I want them to have spent this entire last week preparing only for this few sets that they need to make it through. Top 4 is their goal, but I would love to see a Renegades just tear through everybody for 1 week. Unfortunately, that means that if we take a break Friday and then they come into the qualifier Saturday, then they'd lose the qualifiers immediately.
That's right.
But that's just their trends.
I mean, we're on double elimination this week, and then come Saturday, you win that set, you move on. You lose that set, you go home. So at least a little wiggle room for Renegades here, looking to get something started for themselves on Splitstone Quarry. I agree with you, Gore. I think that they have a draft they'll feel comfortable with. Talked a lot about the Renegades. All Business, I think, have drafted themselves something very good, too. And that European Minor League, not an easy group of teams to find wins against. Definitely not an easy group of teams to qualify for. This guy, I think, needs to have a big day. Moonchopper on the Ash. I think if you get that off tank, kind of that front line moving for the Renegades, allow Shadow and Invocal to have big days. Might be tough for All Business. Great first shot from Shadow to start off the game.
And Moonchopper does exactly what you set him up to do. He is getting the zone going, and Shadow is taking advantage of a hero Invocal. They're just all tacking their names on.
You're happy if you're the Renegades right now. The dream start to the game. 5 up, 5 down, no deaths. Now you just look to zone. Shadow's been wreaking havoc kind of back in this All Business base here. Him and Moonchopper, they've just combined 1 for 1 and zoned out All Business, not letting them move forward. We just need one last zone here. Moonchopper's going to drop down the shield. Madara gets the first kill of the game for All Business here. How much can you push that advantage? Renegades can back off here. Don't need it all just yet. They may look to slow it down.
I think the biggest thing, they've already used a flashbang, but try to charge up some of these ults. Get the dome shield up as fast as you can, get Hero in there, and that's going to make it a lot more difficult for Unbelievable to hold on to this. I mean, you're going to have to look at Unbelievable at the exact level he is. He has a World Championship ring. You can't just hope to out-sustain him on the point. You have to outplay.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to do. He's at 93% for the Renegades. Shadow drops down the Ice Storm, gets the kill on a Davizzy. Whirlwind for All Business is going to top off some of those health bars. Invocal hasn't been identified at all throughout this first fight. He is sat free and clear up on the backside, moves forward, gets the shot onto Toot Toot. A big kill there for the Renegades. Double kill with the snapshot flare flying in to the fidget spinner side. Renegades sweep All Business, and they grab point number 1.
Just smooth as butter. Exactly what they need. A little bit of a hiccup in the middle, but admittedly with how aggressive they were playing, that was an inevitable hiccup, not really anything that you could have seen. They were going for the zone, and they got exactly what they needed out of it. And I think the biggest matchup today would have to be Moonchopper versus Toot Toot, at least for this set, because Moonchopper has had off days. Toot Toot has almost always been stellar. And that is where I think the divide could really be brought into Renegades. But Shadow has been backing up Moonchopper in a way that is just not given All Business any room to get as aggressive as they usually would like to play.
And that 1-2 dynamic between Shadow and Moonchopper, haven't really seen it all that much in the PPL. That's what they need to get going. Kind of the off-tank playing forward, the flank, flex player playing behind it. It has been working out here. Shadow now rampaging. The most recent kill onto Unbelievable. 5-0-6 for the Eevee. 1 death for Invocal. Top damage in the game, though. He was sitting back on that high ground with the Strix in that mid-fight. Now they're maybe rounding this final corner. Maybe some ultimates to fly as All Business move out of their base. Maybe one last chance at a defense.
This is actually where the dynamic is going to shift. Invocal still is going to be able to get a lot of damage, but a lot more pressure, I think, onto Shadow and Moonchopper to open this up. A beautiful ult from Moonchopper, going to get him back up onto the high ground. He's looking for control, but this is really just buying space, making sure the payload can keep moving.
Spot a lot of space. Forced out the Whirlwind as well. Davizzy, one too many shots from Moonchopper. To death he goes. Shadow flies on in, grabs a kill as well, and Vocal positioning himself well, looking for just 1 or 2 more plug shots. Hero getting dangerously low, ends up dropping to Unbelievable. You have to be careful here if you're the Renegades. The respawns are going to be just closer, just quicker if you're all business. If it's not a clean win, maybe back off and try again.
You have 40 seconds, so you only have a little bit of time to play with here. Not a lot of wiggle room to make things go your way, but a good, clean disengage from Shadow at least keeps him alive and afloat for now. And they're in a good position. And admittedly, a couple of ults that I think you're perfectly fine burning. Much like the flashbang is going to go out now.
And through time and space from Viral to follow it up, but no kills on that one. Moonchopper holding up that high ground as well. Unbelievable getting chipped away at. Hero looking to do the last little bit of damage. Healing's not there. Hero with the first kill. Payload now moving forward. 10 seconds on the respawn from Unbelievable. That's a big loss. Shadow drops down the Ice Storm as well. Midnight from Adara just to try to peel out for all business. But no kills for them just yet. Unbelievable now back in from the respawn. Shadow blinks in, gets the last shot in. Vocal as well, gets the kill onto Madara. 2 members left of all business, make it 1. Payload getting so close here. And Unbelievable has to stay alive behind this wall. He's not able to. Payload goes in, and Renegades grab their 2nd point.
So far, so good for them, and exactly how they would want to start it. Again, you talk to them in the middle. Well, we were talking to him in the middle of a PPL week. I think we talked to him, what, week 12, 13 of Phase 2, looking towards this. And, you know, everyone has known for a while that they were going to be going through the qualifier bracket. And it's levels of play like that that are the reason that they are in the Premier League. I mean, that is a solid performance, a solid shot. 9-0-9 here from Shadow. And it does kind of showcase, I think, the caliber of Premier League.
Yes.
This is the worst team, and that's how well they're playing. It's a pretty dangerous sight to be up against. But all business are still afloat. I mean, Madara didn't really get to catch on too much, 20% on the Midnight, so he's not going to have that. But for a re-engage with comeback mechanic, I think it's a perfect scenario for this Mave to start shining.
And it is, you know, Shadow undying at 9-0-9. I think Vocal played a huge role in the last mid-fight as well. They weren't able to dive up to that high ground at all. Things continue that way. It might be great for the Renegades. Too far forward for Shadow and Vocal. Both damage dealers now down. This is where all business look to push that advantage. They have fast cap at their back as well. And after going down 2-0, a dream start for all business on this mid-fight.
And doing exactly what we saw Renegades do last round, except maybe a little bit better this time around. A good overpower as well. Going to connect. It gets in Vocal, probably the best target you could have gotten. That is clean from all business, and this honestly might just be a capture because of that.
Yeah, now that's one way to deal with the Strix, and they're at 81%, climbing by 4% each tick. Shadow may have to make a miracle play here. Dives in, no overtime touch. Point number 1 for all business. Don't count your chickens just yet, Renegades. Still a defense, though. Getting that 3rd point on the board would be big for them. Vocal grabs a nice double kill. Viral throws out the through time and space. So good start to the defense for the Renegades.
I think a lot of this is built on the tanks for all business, and that's where it's going to have to be built brick by brick. Madara, Davozy, both incredibly good on champions that they have played countless times and done well with in the past. But you need 2 factors to make things work out for them. They needed Toot to be aggressive, and they needed Renegades to get a little too aggressive, right? They jumped too far forward, and all business were just the right amount of ahead to make sure. Where Shadow kind of got into a precarious situation early on, and all the damage that we saw from him and Moonchopper during the first portion of this game wasn't there for this one.
This is where I think the Renegades brush off those nerves, lock things down. You had this game under control the last couple of points. Things still looking good here, especially when Vocal adding 3 kills on the Strix. That's one way to do the defense thing. The Renegades are going to push right back out. A couple ultimates used here and there. Ice Storm, assert dominance. Plenty of time to get those charged up.
Because of the nature of the map, this isn't one where you get super aggressive. Like some maps we'll see, you know, Frog Isle, Jag Falls comes to mind, where they're going to push 3/4 of the map. They're going to get a full press defense going, right? Splitstone, it doesn't work as well.
Right.
You have to find very specific angles to hold. And also for Invocal, I mean, triple kills are great, but he can only really be this effective in certain areas. And he's making sure to hold those beautifully.
What a brilliant shot in Vocal. Starting to feel himself on this Strix. Beautiful snapshot. Xenost, Madara catch a couple of them. Unbelievable. Void gripped up. He's going to be the last to go down. It was Shadow to start off the game. It's been Invocal recently. Look at the damage duo for the Renegade score. 14-3, 10-3. Don't forget about Hero up there at 6-2 as well.
24, 6, and 22 between the two of them. And that is a really good slash line to have going. Top damage for both of them in the game. And Invokal's already rushed that COT 3. He has 1,000 in the bank to be able to buy next tier of items, whatever he really feels he needs. And at this point, it's going to be based on how well they can pressure him. But at this rate, I don't think All Business have much to hold on to. Toot Toot able to get a kill. They might find some overtime, but they're already fighting from a deficit.
Yeah, I think losing Unbelievable might be the final nail in this coffin. Toot Toot is just going to extend his life a little bit, but overtime is going to expire. Point number 3 on the board now for the Renegades. Still fast cap for All Business, but a return to kind of the early form there on that defense. Maybe get some momentum built back up.
I think when you look at last round, you look at the mid-fight specifically, a lot of it does come down to the positioning Shadow was in and where Toot Toot was. Yeah. The division of Shadow and Moonchopper, and then the subsequent fall of Shadow, then Moonchopper, opened the point to make it All Business all day. There was no way to get aggressive. But if you can let Invokal get into a position where he can just do that, Shadow stays alive, maybe plays a little bit of distraction factor into it, this game's done. It's all going to fall on the back of him, and with the two of them playing this way, Hero coming into it with the Dome Shield at the ready, this is a very hard fight to lose if you're the Renegades.
They got 3 COT 3s and 1 cauterized 2 for that Whirlwind, so mitigated heavily for Xenost. Overpower, connect, Seismic Crash to follow it up. Shadow first to go down, same as the last time, but this time Hero is able to get the kill onto Davizzi to trade out 1-for-1. Uses the Dome Shield as well. Shoulder Bash not connecting for Moonchopper. Going to get run down by Xenost here. All Business losing a couple of members, but it's the Renegades who are on the back foot.
Right now, I'm going to say it. If Renegades lose this point, if they lose this map, it's going to come off the back of Toot Toot just stomping out and stopping Moonchopper. I mean, there was so much going right for them, aside from the fact that Toot Toot just rushed down the off-tank here for the Renegades, and he's keeping them corralled. Moonchopper can't do anything.
I think they're just going to capture this point. Shadow and Invokal are both down. Moonchopper uses the Assert Dominance way up on the high ground. Overtime is reset. Toot Toot dueling out with Viral right now. He has the damage to run him down. Doesn't do it. Hero is, I think, down near the point right now, maybe able to contest, but Hero dies to Xenost. Now it's all down to Moonchopper, rather, to stay alive there, but Toot Toot gets the kill. This is just going to be people throwing bodies on the point, trying to keep it going. It's just not there from the Renegades. What a flip we have seen. And I think overpowers have been big for All Business to eliminate some of those big threats.
It has been incredible, I think, the shift, mainly from Toot Toot, more than anything, to just focus down where the issue was. Because the issue is Shadow. The issue was never Moonchopper, but Moonchopper enabled it. And now that you've got Moonchopper on lock, Shadow keeps getting overpowered or killed off on the side. That opens up Invokal once Moonchopper is gone. Hero can't do anything on his own. He needs that pressure relieved. And by the time they turn their sights to Hero, it's only Hero and Viral alive. There's no real issue for them there. So Toot Toot has been kind of turning it around. Unbelievable, playing well from the point as well.
Toot Toot has been charging up those overpowers consistently, whether it's Shadow or Invokal. I mean, the two of them, you kill one of them, you see how much presence they've had on this game. It leaves so much of what the Renegades are trying to do. This is where they made their stand last time. It's where they're going to have to do it again. And what a different look of a game we will have if All Business are able to push this in. Tied up at 3, they've been controlling the mid-fights. A totally flipped script, in my opinion, if All Business are able to push this one.
I'll be really interested to see how a fair fight goes on the mid-fight, but honestly, they only need 1 or 2 more kills, if I'm looking at it, the grand scheme of things, from All Business to make it last as effectively as they have for a regular point fight. This time around, though, they're going to use the Midnight. If they drop too much trying to push this in just to tie it up, that's going to give Renegades a pretty big advantage.
Yeah, they're looking to move in. The Midnight does expire with nothing really made of it except for maybe a little positioning. Moonchopper with the sneaky kill onto Davizzi. Good start for the Renegades, and now Invokal can move forward with the rest of his team. See Hero rocket booting in, going toe-to-toe with Unbelievable. This is going to be a good defense for the Renegades. They use an Ice Storm just a few moments ago. Midnight is well used by All Business, so a couple smaller ultimates getting traded.
And just notably, the ults that you can charge back pretty well with 20 seconds left on the clock. Not very easily, but you're going to be able to get them back in time for them to be there for the big moments. Yeah, you won't have Midnight at the start of the round, but you'll have Scout, which is going to give you the vision. Then you can use Midnight if you need to for a retake. You maintain your Dome Shield. You maintain your Assert Dominance. Those two are crucial to Renegades. If they burn either of those here, that might just be the final nail in the coffin.
Well, this is it. Overtime begins. Unbelievable. Back behind the wall. The stay contesting. Chipped away, though. Vocal first death here. Madara dives into the back line, grabs the kill. Shadow's able to trade out 1-for-1. Dome Shield used by Hero to peel off of that payload just a little bit. All Business may just want to hold on to their ultimates here at this point. Shadow has to go big with a double kill for himself. They're going to back off, stay out of range. But you spend a Dome Shield, and that could be costly for the Renegades on this next mid.
The best news that they have is the fact that it can charge back relatively quickly. I mean, as far as frontline ults go.
It's not the slowest, right?
It's not a Terminus ult. But, you know, it's not necessarily the best. He should be able to get it back if it's a long point fight. I'm thinking 99-99, but
sure.
He does enough damage in Barrack, as you see, 112,000, eclipsing the Eevee here just now. That is where he gets this ult back, and that is where I think a lot of his pressure is going to come from. I mean, 10-4, 21 for Hero. He's having an incredible game.
Yep.
But it still enables All Business in this round to be able to win if they don't have the round they need. If Moonchopper goes down, if Shadow and Invocal get picked off again, then even half of a comeback mechanic is going to be enough for All Business.
Overpower connects. Did he grab Moonchopper this time with the Overpower? Are you able to win the fight without the front line? Apparently not. Madara dives in, gets Invocal one more time. Ice Storm to force Madara down to the low ground. So many low health bars here for the Renegades. Hero dancing back and forth, not enough shielding, not enough failsafe to keep him alive. 58%, half fast cap here for All Business. And what a great start for them to maybe tie up the game.
And there's going to be the Midnight charged up exactly when they need it. 86%. They're going to be able to come through. That enables Madara at least one clean kill.
Wow.
And no one could touch.
What a change we've seen. The quiet start to this game from Madara to now being able to find that space. The deep backline dives were not paying off at the beginning. Have been paying off here, and maybe it's a shift in the off tank. I mean, this is a different look from the first 2 points.
A lot of it, I think, is the shift in the off tanks. I mean, again, Toot getting as aggressive as he has and getting the kills he has opened up scenarios that were just previously unavailable for All Business. And look at this. I mean, they just have so much trouble killing him. They had to invest 3 people essentially in there to get rid of him.
And some ults.
They're doing pretty well at stalling out defenses, so this could very well be 3-3 and get to the length that you desire. But I'm going to tell you, if I'm Renegades, that's not good enough, right? It's not good enough to win this one as a 4-3, and especially not to win it as a 4-3 when you go to 20-plus minutes. You have to have done this already. You were up 3-1 earlier. I start feeling a little shaky if I'm them.
Yeah, we've seen, at least yesterday in our console wars, some games where you're leading 2-0 and then you give up 4 straight points. I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at from the Renegades. A total shift in momentum here, in my opinion, where All Business haven't been able to figure out the push. But they have this mid-fight figured out. And you got to win it on a mid-fight here at this point if you're the Renegades. No fast cap. I mean, maybe that's a silver lining to look at, but they're going to have to defend here. You have to spend ultimates to keep this from going in, potentially.
Yeah, you've got a minute left to try and figure it out, and Invocal keeps going down. Toot has very good target acquisition. And he stayed alive through all this. The payload's still moving forward. Renegades, they're putting their backs against the wall, and All Business are going for it.
All Business are looking to end the game. You're going to have to drop the Dome Shield if you're Hero, which he does, staying safe back in there. Madara gets cleaned up on the back line. They use the Overpower. Whirlwind as well from All Business, so that's not up for the rest of this fight. Shadow just looking for one last shot. Unbelievable solo. Precarious spot here for All Business. Shadow makes good on it, hitting some last final shots. Big double kill for him. Invocal makes 3, Shadow makes 4. And the damage dealers get it done one more time for the Renegades on defense.
Now, that was some Game 5, we're about to lose, I don't want to lose yet, Shadow, right there. That is when he gets into full form. Same thing we saw at the beginning of the game. It is impeccable what this Eevee can accomplish. But you're going to have to do it again because they've got overtime, and they're right here. They've got a Seismic Crash. Scout might not be as pertinent, but they also have a Whirlwind coming out.
They're going to drop it down, but Toot immediately dies. If Unbelievable gets run down here as well, it's not looking good for the Renegades. Invocal gets the kill, or All Business rather. Pyro and Vocal adds a couple with the Strix. Overtime's going to expire. Renegades better off ultimate-wise. All Business, we're looking to end it right there.
Renegades hit a checklist for that last fight.
They needed
just
to.
like kill, 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 kill. Cool, we got it. We're good. Now let's just not mess this next one up. And that's kind of been the issue. They haven't actually been making too many mistakes.
Right.
They've just been getting outplayed. There's no other way to look at that. And this was a moment. Shadow, you're doing that on the defense. You need to pick that up right here, right now. Keep it going. 29 and 24. That is a ridiculously
You're telling me this is a
good
tied
slash
game?
line.
You're telling me this is going to .7? No way. Look at the damage. Look at the slash lines. There's no way this is a 7-point game.
I have to invoke some wise words
You have to
of
invoke some
Phase
wise
1 Phoenix.
Yep.
Renegades are out here playing team deathmatch. All business are playing the point fight. You got to change it around, and that's a good shot, but it's not going to connect.
It was Splitstone Corey, I think, was the game where Phoenix said that afterwards. A better look for the Renegades here. The ultimate's on their side, drops down the assert dominance. That's going to buy some zone. Madara one more time, finding one of the first kills in this fight. Looking for some daggers into Hero, into the failsafe. He goes. Not enough health. There's the failsafe to get him out. One last time, one more dagger, one more bolt from Dav as he gets the kill. All business. They have the numbers advantage, and they're back on the point.
But now you're going to see it just match the 15 and surpassed it here. All business slowly making the climb forward. Viral's on a 28 streak. I got to throw that out there. He is just ridiculously good on this Genos right now. No one's getting to him, but it's not applying enough.
Watch out for that overpower. That's going to come up here for the second part of this fight. Not before Hero's able to get the kill. Whirlwind for all business. Not enough to top off those health bars. 30 streak now for Viral as Moonchopper controlling this low ground, forcing them back just a little bit. Davazy finds the angle. Shadow finds the kill, though. Shoulder bash is going to knock back. Unbelievable. Renegades, without a moment to spare, are going to take a deep breath and now try to zone all business, who are at 93%.
This is where the veteran play on all business is going to make a big difference. Don't aggress immediately. 93 to 48. You've got plenty of time to get aggressive, and Tutu knows that. He's going to be going for it. He's looking specifically for Moonchopper, and that's going to open the door wide.
That's a big trade. Renegades need to look to find a trade back. Madara drops down the midnight. He was low as well. Needed to block off some of those sight lines. Hero, he's all on his own down on the low ground. They're not able to finish off Madara. Overtime begins. Hero's going to have to dive right back in there. Has the dome shield now for himself. Ziggs up in the air. Davazy cleans up the kill onto Shadow. Invoco looking for some sort of an angle. Overtime bouncing back and forth here between both teams. Toot looking to run down Hero. Overtime starting to expire. No more point tank here for the Renegades. It's a catastrophic collapse for the PPL team. All business come back. They're going to win game one.
That, I can't think of a word other than disappointing for anyone who is a Renegades fan. I mean, you are up 3-1 in that.
Oh, no.
And you can see it. Moonchopper feeling it more than ever. Head in hands down there. But the conversation's still flowing a little bit there. That's a good win if you're all business. That is impeccable for you to be able to not only turn that around, but again, doing it the way that Renegades have kind of been feeling it all phase. This is not a feeling that is too far apart. How do you win that hard and still lose the game?
Yeah, good luck looking at the post-game stats there.
Yeah, and break it down.
I don't know what it's going to tell you.
Top damage, all of the kills in the world. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you even see Hero with some really good objective time on there, but it's just they couldn't hold on to it.
I kind of wish there was a post first 2 point stats, because I think the first two, they steamrolled, and they kind of still did from time to time. Not enough, though, to get them the win. All business, the minor league European team. They strike first. Renegades looking to get something going in game two in just a sec.
Welcome back, guys, in a very surprising turn of events, at least to me. I mean, Renegades just lost their very first game, but of course, I mean, they still have the rest of the set to be able to catch back up. It seemed like they were actually going to be able to take that one, at least in the very beginning, but All Business just ended up turning things around extremely quickly, like faster than I was expecting it to turn around.
Yeah, honestly, this is not a good look for Renegades. Not just because, yeah, they lost. I mean, honestly, we're used to seeing that against these other PPL teams, but the fact that All Business managed to win with Devozy putting on the performance that he did, which was not the greatest. He is subbing in. He is a tank that is flexing to DPS for this. That's rough. The way that last ultimate went, there was a lot of ultimates in favor for Renegades. Their damage is greatly outscaling them, but All Business, they played inside of the quarry. They played the objective game just better. That's always been the EU advantage, I think, and they clearly showed it here.
Yeah, I mean, but, dude, that's so sad. I mean, you see the slash lines on both Invocal, well, not just them, but, like, everyone. I mean, Moonchopper had a bit of a rough game, but, I mean, you could expect that from an Ashe, at least in this case, but 13-7, 23-11, 22-11, 5-2, and 44 assists. Like, this is literally, if you were to look at this and not know and didn't watch the game before, you would have thought RNG would have won, but Madara on the other side, despite him being 16-17, later on in the game as it kept going on, he was able to show up in a way that, like I said, it surprised me. It surprised a lot of people in this case.
Madara just had to wake up. Honestly, I think was what it was as the game went on. Not exclusively that, obviously, but he had a slow start, and Shadow had an amazing game. The fact that Madara kept up with him, I think, was impressive. Shadow was connecting midair shots all throughout, and that's so tough to deal with as a Mave, but he managed to do it, constantly rotating around, hitting the daggers that he needed to. There was also good use of Midnights. I think All Business actually screwed up a little bit in the second to last push. They used every ultimate to not convert, but then they still won the fight anyway. They still won that next fight. Yeah, Madara knows.
Yeah, he knows.
He knows he's being discussed. He had a strong performance. Toot also.
True, yeah, very good point.
Played phenomenally also. There's also that one moment of Xenost going on an absolute rampage.
Yeah, it was
in the middle
insane.
of a mid-fight, he just got like 6 or 7 kills. It just happens sometimes, man. Sometimes you're Grover, you're throwing axes, and sometimes they just hit right.
Yeah, sometimes it really do be like that.
Really
I'm just... Hopefully, Renegades can find a way to be able to turn things around. I mean, this is a very, very, like you said, it's not a great look for them. But, of course, once again, the set's not over yet, guys. We'll take a look at the map, see where we're going this go-around. This is Bright Marsh. If Renegades picked Splitstone last time, this is All Business pick. They just won. They have that momentum to carry on over into this map.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to see if they can maybe flip things around. This is a snowballing map, so All Business maybe wants to go here just to keep the snowball going. If they choose second pick, that would be kind of interesting. If they did, they decided that their draft was good enough. Maybe they are comfortable playing against Strix, but I don't know, man. That Strix had a great performance last game. Yes, you beat it, but like, I feel like you won almost in spite of the Strix. Your team play won, but that was so tough to deal with. The amount of damage coming out from the EV and the Strix in that game was really overwhelming. All Business just barely hung on with their sustain.
I mean, they were giving respect to it, too. I mean, you see the EV first ban, All Business, no considerate, just don't even get rid of the Eevee, right? I mean, Shadow, like you were saying, had an amazing performance, but RNG are going to lock in this con. This is what they want for their very, very first pick in this go-around for this draft. And All Business are responding in kind with the Barrack and the Ashe as well. Okay, they've got both of their frontliners, and this is sort of similar to last time. I mean, RNG have more flexibility with how they want to go with the rest of this draft now.
I am surprised they did go double tank, but it's possible they just want to limit Renegade's chances of going triple tank,
correct?
Which is very powerful on this map, and All Business still could. Right now, All Business, because they picked this, they went really flexible. They could go 2 DPSs, they could pick up a Ruckus and run a triple tank composition, so they managed to stay kind of all over the place. Renegade's now going to get most likely stuck with the Narcon composition, which is good, but it's going to do one specific thing. It's going to be kind of a sustainy, hold your ground kind of composition, and maybe that's where All Business wants Renegades to be.
Right, maybe that is where they want them to be, indeed. And Anara, okay, is going to be for Hero. Moonchopper on the con, more than likely. And then Cassie is what's going to be picked for them. And this is a pretty good draft so far from what I'm seeing from RNG. I mean, you've got the sustainability of Anara. You've got her ability to be able to be to increase the healing it is that she's receiving. Con with this battle shout, giving herself immunity. I mean, they have the sustainability on both of their frontliner sides. I like that a lot. And Cassie with that shred as well.
I mean, how can Renegades lose? Have you looked at the stats of their picks? All of them have 100% win rate. Yes, we have one game of we're pulling from one game, but you can't argue with the numbers.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you're right. You're entirely right. I mean, Genos Bomb King are what's going to be picked in response. on All Business's side. You've got the Luminary buff. I mean, you've got the sustainability in the form of Assert Dominance, but you've also got that Con to be able to sort of counter that out. Bomb King as well can lock down a lot of different areas. And what would you pick if you were on RNG's side looking at their draft now on All Business?
Right now, they don't have a way to deal with a Drogos. They could still last pick a Leon, but I think you could still play the Drogos. So potentially that. Maeve also,
okay.
flank potential. It is still going to maybe struggle into the Leon if that does get picked, but May Fury is a pretty good option. The Inflame will let you get aggressive with the slower mobility tanks because the speed will make up for it. They'll be able to cross that distance, pressure into the back line, if that's what they want to do. See if this is what they lock. I wouldn't be shocked if they did, for sure. Hero rocking that. That was Hero, right? I think that was the... Oh, what is that? I think it's the Ducky Year of the Pig. It's a ducky. That's all I know.
Understood.
I'm a fanboy of those keyboards. So Maeve is locked in for Renegades. Got a lot of flexibility, mobility, and Fury, I think, is a great way to round out that composition.
Yeah, how do you feel about them not trying to go for their own blaster in this case? I mean, Bomb King can lock out a lot of different areas. It's going to be hard for them to push, and later on in the game, when we've got records and such online, how do RNG combat that? I mean, they have the Inflame, like you said, for that aggression, but I'm liking All Business's comp already before they even have this last pick.
They have, if they can cleanse call out, their sustain's going to be way better. Because Fury is basically throwing targeted pit potions every second or so.
Oh.
This would be a classic All Business finish to this draft if that's what they go with. And it is, not only do they have the King Bomb Tempest combo to run into the enemy team, Inara gets farmed by Grok.
Yeah.
That's kind of the whole point of picking Grok in a lot of these situations. You're constantly bouncing off that Inara, bouncing off of her Warder's Field. So much pressure put on by that Grok, and the added sustain with the Genos kind of makes up for the lack of healing that you have when you pick that character in the first place.
I mean, I'm leaning towards All Business's composition, man. I mean, I think that, me personally, I believe that not having somebody to be able to try and counter out that Bomb King, I mean, once again, you've got the Con to be able to try and hold those side lanes. That when that shield gets broken, when we have those records later on in the game and Inara's getting farmed by that Grok Lightning, I mean, it's going to be hard for Renegades.
I think Renegades can take it if the overpowers connect. Maeve is good at dueling BK, but the overpowers are really what has to connect for them to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to see if that's going to be the case, though, guys. Game 2 on Bright Marsh. Let's get it.
I think this might be the most important game of the set, Gore. I think that it's a best of 5, so you got to win 3, not what the Renegades are used to with their best of 7s in the PPL. After a hard loss on Splitstone Quarry, where you've won every metric except the one that's important, which is the game itself. If there's no bounce back here on Bright Marsh, I don't know. I'm getting nervous for the Renegades.
How do you win so hard and still lose? Like, that's all I can be stuck up on is all of the control in the world falling right into their laps, not able to do anything there. And it is worth noting, first 2 maps predetermined for a set, one by each team gets chosen. All Business, whichever one was their map, opted for second pick because they've been second both times. And now they're bringing Bomb King out on what I would say is his second best map here in Bright Marsh. Madara, we've been watching him do it for a while. Luckily for the Renegades, he's going to start off with some kills.
Alrighty. Bright Marsh starting off much the same as Splitstone Quarry with a cascade of blue in the kill feed. A lot of it in Vocal this time. Moving forward on the Cassie. So can you zone? I mean, now you just got to zone, try to find a few more picks as they crash back into you. 54%, All Business looking to retake.
So you know how, like, if you, say you're drawing a bath and the water's too cold, you, like, dip your foot in and it's like, oh, that's too cold?
Right.
You're cautious about the next time you're about to put your foot in? That's how I am with this game. I don't know if I want to back Renegades because they did so well at the beginning last time and then threw it down the drain.
Yeah, I believe they're at 81%, so I mean they're not in control just yet. The retake from All Business was just kind of slow and methodical. They move in 81 to 69%. Unbelievable Hero going toe-to-toe on the point right now as the fight rages outside. Hero's going to take a different route. First Inflame of the game for the Renegades. This is where you really need to win this mid-fight, and Vocal gets the roundabout flank onto Xenos. That's a big pick. Not going to have any more Genos healing for the rest of this fight. Madara might have to try to turn something around all on his own. Unbelievable gets the kill, and Vocal still on that Cassie, staying alive. Tempest could save this mid-fight for his team, just ticking away, forcing back some of the Renegades. Dome Shield as well drops down on the point for All Business. Madara, he finds the most recent kill. Shadow looking to re-engage with a Midnight of his own.
Trying to do anything and everything he can, but 99% overtime sticking down. That's going to be a good shot from Xenos.
Xenos grabs 2 and puts his team right back in control of this one. Hero gets Void gripped up. Point number 1 right back to all business after another hot start from the Renegades.
And they keep it all. They use some ults to get there, but, well, smoke if you got them. At that point, you have everything you need in your arsenal. And sometimes we've seen these fights won just by who is able to get their ult first. Nice little overpower right there. Did get the kill. I was about to say, did he not? Did he dash back on? But they're looking to start off this defense same way they started off the game, same way they started off last map. With some pretty good kills, although Invocal right now the only one with a stellar slash line.
Yeah, it's 6-1-1. It's been the Invocal show here for the Renegades.
It's
Another
the story of their year.
Story of their year. Maybe the story of game one as well. Moonchopper going to bring some of that frontline presence here for the Renegades. Bomb King, synopsis, a couple minutes into this one. You like what you've seen so far from Madara?
I think Madara is playing it appropriately. It's just unfortunate for him because he needs to get aggressive, and he's been trying to get aggressive, but some of these have been biting off more than he can chew. I think the biggest thing we'll see is what happens when he does get a first King Bomb off. But now 2 and 5, and I didn't even get time to look at his loadout with how fast he died there. That he's falling right into that area of could be good, could be bad. Yeah. It's gonna need a few more test results to figure it out.
It's maybe a very small minor moment, but Davizzi did get off the Tempest right there. It does charge very quickly, so it'll be back relatively soon. But not going to have it just yet. Right into it and right down to death. Good fight back here from all business. Renegades are going to have to give up some of that ground. They're going to be fighting back from their base, especially if they get too much more staggered out here. Shadow just kind of hanging back behind all business right now. Looking for maybe a flank. The re-engage could be on. Madara knows he's there, just needs two more shots. But at what point do you just ignore Shadow and rejoin the rest of your team? Because in the meantime, Invocal's grabbing a kill on a Xenost.
I'd say sooner rather than later, Invocal is starting to do too much for the Renegades to make you feel confident. And, well, with Davizzi going down, 20 seconds left, you could still potentially get some overtime goings, but all business kind of feels like this one has been drained dead.
Yeah, it seems very slow going here, kind of slugging through the marshes here on Bright Marsh to try to get back to this payload. So if nothing else, a good defense from the Renegades to keep them back. Healing numbers on top for Viral. And Vocal getting the kill onto Madara, I think, seals up this one. Might not have mattered anyway. Renegades find a way to grab themselves a defense. But these mid-fight score, they've lost, what, 4 straight at this point? 3, 4 straight if you look at the last 2 games?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to it. And the problem is the only adaptation I can think of right now isn't much for the Renegades. I mean, a lot of what they're doing, again, is not necessarily anything outright wrong. They're just getting outplayed in a lot of these scenarios. The only big change I could see, Madara, 3 and 6, if he could kind of switch around, 2-2, much like last map, can switch around where his presence is. That'll be a lot. Send them back, maybe Davizzi instead of Madara, but whoever you want. Kill Invocal. That's the strategy that every PPL team has pretty much invoked. And, well, as you'll see, it tends to open up a lot of success for you if you can pick off this Cassie early.
Well, Invocal is going to use the scout to maybe identify a flank coming in, assert dominance. Up, down, did get it off, slid off of the wall. Madara rolls on through, grabs the kill on a Moonchopper. Storming the gates now is all business. Double kill, make it 3 for Madara on the Bomb King. And a clean sweep, save Shadow for all business. Still some ultimates for the Renegades. When Shadow goes down, though, he's just going to regroup with the rest of his team. No fast cap, so still a chance.
Now, one of the things that I think all business did beautifully there, you combo Tempest with the King Bomb, you get the right movement speed in there.
That's scary.
The reason you didn't notice the King Bomb, if you were listening, until the call for it to come out was done is because he actually breaks the sound barrier with how fast he goes in that one. It's just too fast.
You physically could not hear it. There's some physics problem.
He
that
blew
just
up
match.
while the line was still ending.
That's right. Madara gets another one onto Shadow, who was midnight there. 99% now for all business. 2-2'd into the overpower. No damage there. The Ashe is going to stay alive. Madara, in the meantime, grabs a kill onto Hero, so no point tank contention. One more mid-fight. Renegades are all brawling off in the apartments. All business are capturing the point.
Yeah, that's one of a classic kind of cases of like, okay, cool, so what'd you get for that? You used your overpower, you got a kill onto Toot Toot. It was big, impactful fight in the apartments. no one was looking at the objective that was ticking down from overtime at 99%. Like, what is your team doing? What is the call there other than, well, Toot's obnoxious, we need to get rid of him? That's how the off-tanks are going to be. That's the reason that All Business are, well, doing as well as they are right now. It doesn't matter how many defenses you can get. If you can't win a mid-fight, you're not going to get anywhere.
We just have to win one. That's been a struggle for the Renegades. Now might be a struggle to win a defense. A much better look at this push for All Business. They use the Tempest to kind of propel them forward. And a totally different look, honestly, at that damage chart, whereas you look at last game, Renegades had the top 4, only Viral Healing had not one of the top damages in the game, and now it's in Vocal against the world.
Well, again, story of their year for a lot of it. A lot of their games in Vocal. Great slash line, great damage, but, well, he's not the point tank. He's not objective. He is kills, kills, kills. So, again, I bring up this comparison. If they were playing Team Deathmatch, they are second to none. They are stomping every team in the world. But unfortunately, they do need to be able to figure out this point control thing. And when Hero's the only one over there, if he's getting collapsed on the way that so far All Business have, he's going toe-to-toe with Unbelievable. Again, he's a world champ player.
Yep.
He has a championship under his belt. He knows what he's doing. You need more pressure to make that go Hero's way.
Absolutely does. And the point tank presence, you know, amongst all of the other things you mentioned, is tilted for All Business here. Hero's able to grab a kill, so 30 seconds left now on this push for All Business. Kind of in that don't feel like using my ultimates right now territory because we're going to need them. But with how fast those Tempests have been charging, I wouldn't expect to see it just yet, but I guess there's a world where maybe you throw it out because you get it so quickly.
13 seconds left. They're getting a couple kills. It's not fully off the table. It depends a lot on this Mave. Already getting 1 kill, 2 kills there for Shadow. I think it, not dead in the water, but it's kind of a lonely island here for All Business right now.
How many times have we seen this story, though, of like Shadow kind of diving in, maybe grabs a couple of kills, everyone else on the Renegades dies, and it's just Shadow on this Mave somewhere in the back line of All Business. Happens one more time here. He's back in, joining the fight, grabs the execute onto Davazy. Overtime looking to expire. Unbelievable, forced to rocket boots out of this one. Still contesting, but a 4v5 advantage for the Renegades here as Madara has started to warm up on this Bomb King as well. Good flank from Tutu. Maybe just needs one more shot. Unbelievable goes down. That's all the Renegades need to grab their second point.
Now that last part is a counterexample to what I was just about to say. A good example of how quickly overtime dies down, though, because you have Tutu in pretty prime position. I wasn't
sorry.
kidding.
That's so fast.
You thought it was a joke. I genuinely was saying he breaks the sound barrier. Like, he blew up when the line felt like it was ending. I heard give your king a big hug and explosion at the same time.
Yeah, that took me by surprise.
It's, well, I hope you're ready to see it again, because this is going to be Race Car Bomb King Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Davozy is going to be setting him up.
Atlas with the speed through stasis field card. That's what we need.
To set it all up,
Yeah,
like just
right.
get them all going. Yeah. I don't know what it would look like. I think a Bomb King at that speed, though, could very easily cross any map.
At that point, you're just getting
for whatever.
You're getting give, and then he blows up instead of anything else. Not going to be super sped this time, but he is going to get off the King Bomb into Hero. It's Unbelievable, grabs the kill. Shadow positioning himself well, looking to stay alive, gets a heal from Viral. Nobody on the point just yet. Overpower does connect onto Unbelievable. This one is going to be a kill for the Renegades. All Business back on the point, but the Renegades with the numbers.
Now here's a note for Renegades. You notice how Toot is now on the objective. That's what needs to happen when your main tank dies. That's where the focus needs to be. That's the thing they were missing last round. And they still have some ults on All Business to be able to make this happen for them. 33-18.
Yep.
It's going to be a good kill from Shadow, at least to keep things rolling somewhat in their favor.
I think you need to hard win this fight if you're the Renegades. You have no more ultimates, and they're able to get some big ones. Shadow with 3. Looking to move himself in. Xenox just wide on the through time and space, and Vocal adds one more. So now it's All Business down to just their Dome Shield. The zone is looking good here for the Renegade score. This is probably the best shot they're going to get at a mid-fight so far.
And this is where Madara can prove what he's worth, right? He's got the bombs to kill Shadow. It's going to be difficult. She's very maneuverable. But if you can lock that Mave down for just a second, it's going to be a clean kill for him.
Point 3 does end up going up on the board for the Renegades, so a chance to win. They've been on the back foot this entire game. The defense is adding up, a big mid-fight point win there. So a chance to make it 4 with the push here. Shadow starting to warm up on that Mave. It was all invocal all day at the beginning of this game, if you're looking just strictly at the damage duos, and now Shadow starting to find his mark a little bit on that Mave to really counter out a lot of what Madara's been doing on that Bomb King.
I would love to see maybe a little more from the tanks. I mean, Moonchopper and Hero, we've seen them have incredible performances, but very quiet so far today. That's coming down from them. It has literally been all Invocal and Shadow for these last 2 games in terms of presence that they've been able to have. I think Hero is maybe one of the defining factors that could set this team up for success. He's going to be able to get back to the point.
Close.
Almost grabs Grok there as well. But it should still be a kill.
Yeah, Viral does end up cleaning up that kill. So Midnight used, lots of ultimates used here by the Renegades. They're looking to really move forward here. Madara, though, back up on that high ground there. Throwing out some bombs, cleaving a lot of that Renegade's offensive pressure. Moonchopper, within an inch of his life, drops to Toot Toot. So one more time, the Renegades use a lot. They invest most of their available ults there in that one, except for the overpower. All Business are looking 5 strong on the defense.
Well, minute to win it right now for the Renegades. They can try to go through. And I'll be honest, Dave, I'm not sure I like their odds against a full force All Business on an even point fight.
Yeah.
A second time, granted, things could go well for them, but you know, Shadow got a triple kill. That's a huge impact that you can never overlook. How consistent is he going to be on that? Could be huge, could not happen. So you're going to have to look at them in this next 35 seconds to try and get things under their feet.
Now it's down to 30. Nobody dead just yet. I mean, this is a small enough map where if the Renegades are able to just pair up a few kills here, they'll start to move very quickly. If nothing else, you just want to extend this to charge up some of those ultimates. Still 2 of them not available for the Renegades. Unbelievable getting some good healing here. 10 seconds left, Gore. Maybe one more chance for the Renegades to try to find some picks.
Definite overtime on the board. At this point, your goal is to make All Business burn anything and everything that you can. It's going to be difficult to do, but as long as you can get 1 ult out, I feel like you're going to walk away with a success.
For a seismic crash from Hero as well. Shadow with the first kill onto 2-2. That's a big one. Force out the Dome Shield from Unbelievable as well, so that's a big trade, especially if they're able to defend this one. Unbelievable caught out. Dome Shield expires. Moonchopper gets the kill. And now if you're the Renegades, you're feeling good. There's only 2 people left to defend here. The high ground is going to be the new advantage for All Business. They're going to have to hang back. 5 strong for the Renegades. Everything but the Dome Shield for All Business. Still a chance to end this game.
And now you have to start asking yourself, via the Renegades, what all are you willing to throw out there? And what are you going to try? There's going to be the overpower on the 2-2. This might open it up for a win.
In the through time and space, tried to peel Inflame as well. They're selling everything now. Seismic Crash drops down. Shadow gets the kill onto Madara, looking to move forward. Davizy's going to be the next to fall. Good stun there onto Unbelievable, shrugs it off, but he's the last member alive for All Business, looking to contend. The Renegades bounce back, and the Renegades grab themselves a win.
Day late and $1 short there on the Ash. And 2-2 lands, and just a second too late. Renegades keep themselves, what I would argue is well afloat for this set, keeping things interesting. But again, a little shakier than I think you would want out of your team, no matter what, coming into this. Also showcasing how even with 2 subs, it's not really bothering All Business that
Apparently
much.
not.
I'm very surprised with, like, I know they've been scrimming with them. We didn't get to see them online because they still brought in Close R and Bugsy, but very impressive to see these guys step in for LAN and have such a monumental impact. If Madara and Davizy can kind of seal the deal and like close up a little bit more of their play, they could still take this one.
And remember, Fatal Ambition and Cyclone hanging out down in the losers bracket, awaiting the losers of this matchup and then the next matchup. So regardless, I don't know, All Business, Renegades, they're both looking pretty strong right now. Tie-breaking Game 3 in just a sec.
Vamos 1, 2, 3, sin estrés. Muéstrame sus pasos, te cuento hasta 10 y ven. Yo sé que tú quieres moverlo sin pena, ven. Sin estrés, muéstrame sus pasos, te cuento hasta 10 y ven. Yo sé que tú quieres. Sé que tú quieres conmigo, amor, todos esos placeres que brinda la vida y que nos hace tan feliz. Sé que tú quieres conmigo, amor, todos esos placeres, como acariciarte y conocerte de raíz. ti te vi, mami. Bailabas como un ángel, me acuerdo de ese party. No lo hacías despacito, no eras como Daddy. Eras como Bad Bunny, tu flow bastante cari, alright. Hermoso y con timidez me gusta. Y con esa sencillez que asusta. Sabes bien cómo es que es combi completa de cabeza a los pies. Sin effects, mami, yo te entono. Te subo el pitch y te derrito el cono. En mis historias siempre te menciono. Para esa reina necesito un trono. Sin effects, mami, yo te entono.
Welcome back, guys. Renegades have now tied up the score 1-1. It's okay, everybody. You guys can breathe now. Renegades are definitely here to play, especially after that match. It was looking really, really shaky at first against All Business, but Renegades were actually able to win that game.
And I think it was on the back of just how much chaos they were constantly sowing into the back of All Business. They really couldn't stop and think and set up their pushes, and I think that pressure kind of hurt them in some situations. That could have been a defense, I feel, for All Business, had Unbe held onto his dome shield just a little longer and had it for that final section. Top damage for Unbe, though, so he was constantly fighting, constantly outputting that damage, but not enough to flip the game in their favor. Great performances, as always, from both DPSs from RNG, and decent performance from Moonshopper as well, 10 and 7.
Oh my goodness.
Able to keep things kind of zoned out. What are you, oh my goodnessing about?
The fact that Shadow has more assists than Viral does, 14, 8, and 26. He has the same assists that Genos has on All Business' side.
Yeah, and that's because of what he was doing. For me, he was my highlight player of that game because whenever All Business would capture the mid, they'd move forward, Shadow would just live behind them forever. Just constantly in the back, spamming from behind, and that's why he has so many assists, because he wasn't really in a position where he was easily confirming daggers, but he was hitting them, chipping everybody, making them turn around, and always being a part of every fight, and that really was what signed the death knell for him.
Yeah. I mean, it was... You see it right here in these replays, and not only that, you just see the pressure it was that he was actually able to apply. Shoutouts to Invocal as well. I mean, last game on Splitstone, this game on Bright March, the both of them, Shadow and Vocal, top damaging on their team and really having these amazing slash lines. It's so, it's such a story for the two of them because the both of them can really have these stellar games. And that's just what Shadow was able to do on Bright March. Like you said, sowing the seeds of chaos in the back line. Maeve was running around all over the place, hitting so many different targets, and exactly like you were saying in the back, what are they going to do to catch her? They're going to use Tempest or something? Like they're going to try to use Grok to try and catch up to her?
That's what I said in the back.
Right. Yeah,
how
that's
do
what
you
I'm saying.
chase down the Maeve with your composition? You have to Tempest after him just to slow him down.
Right.
And most of the time, the Prowl movement speed boost, the Pounce will get him just out of the range that he has to be to actually chase him. So good idea, good concept of the draft for Renegades, and they executed it exactly how they needed to.
Yeah, they did indeed. Now, Bright March is out of the way, guys. Game 2 already said and done, as you saw. We have to go to Game 3, see what map we're going for here, and it is going to be Stonekeep.
I want to see how the drafts end up going on this map. The Grok was all right for All Business, I think, last map. Maybe didn't do exactly what they wanted it to, so wouldn't exactly expect to see it here. Not really a map you see Grok on too much anyway. All Business could definitely play that church style of composition. Playing near the point, playing the objective worked for them very, very well on the last Splitstone, so I think they could transplant that here and find some success with it if they do manage to find that. Renegades, standard bans across the board for these teams. They both ban their flex, they both ban the power tank. Renegades end up with Khan again, got them a win. Maybe can find them another.
Yeah, hopefully it can. All Business, though, are thinking about who their next two characters are going to be. Who do they want to try and round off the draft with? Are they going to try and go for this double front line once again? Mention the double front line. That is what they're going to be locking in. The tried and true for them these past several games. It's been always a double front line of some type of combination. Anar Ash are what we are going to find ourselves with on Stonekeep, though, and that gives Renegades more flexibility as the draft goes on.
And also, it forces Renegades to play double shield tank if they're going to have a secondary point tank, which I'm assuming they will. Khan Barrack probably going to be the... Oh, no, they're actually holding off on the Barrack.
Cassie Fury.
Maybe they want to play a more aggressive composition. Ruckus also could be an option if Cassie is picked. Don't want to have that hard counter there on the board. Fury is pretty good against Ruckus as well, too. So
nice.
Also just as good with him. Also, an inflamed Ruckus diving into your backline is not easy to deal with, but also just probably just staying flexible. All Business, if they take the Barrack, they do have double point tank. That's a lot of healing that has to get output onto your tanks. Might be a little too tough on Xenost, but Grover would definitely be the healer that can do it. Paired with Bomb King for now, though.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Grover, you have the Bomb King, and I was singing the praises of the fact that Renegades last game, even though they did win, The Bomb King was just such an impressive factor when Renegades did not have another blaster to try and counter that out with. And I mean, All Business, credit to them, are going to go with this Bomb King again to try and repeat that situation that they had last time, meaning that this composition All Business have, I mean, you got a Nara, Ashe, Grover, Bomb King. This is a keep comp, like, entirely. Like, they literally control that high ground. They control heaven.
Well,
they
depending on who their second DPS is, they can absolutely play outside.
Okay, what's Bug?
For sure. Okay.
Yeah, it's Bug.
I don't know then.
Yeah, what's up?
I wish I could tell you. I'm actually not sure about what they would want.
Oh, it's EV. Okay.
I was talking about All Business's comp for playing outside. They could actually do it if they have a good poke. Leon's still open, available for All Business if that's where they want to go with it. Barrack EV would be a good ending for this. All the flanker play has been amazing for Renegades, so they definitely want one. Probably not Buck. He's more of a counter flanker, as we know, not really that carry role, and Shadow has put on carry level performances on these flankers the last couple of games, so you definitely want to give him one with a little more pop-off potential, that EV or that Maeve.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're going to be locking in, man. I mean, they've got the EV, they've got their flank. Khan, Cassie, Furia, EV, Barrett. And that's going to be it for Renegades draft. All Business trying to think about what they want to finish off their draft with. What do you see? You see a Leon potentially?
Or Victor.
Yeah.
I think Leon or Victor could be great ends to this. Leon, because it's great against the enemy comp. Victor, because he's great on this map.
Right.
Either way, you can get a good backline. Also, I want to point out, Strix also made it this far. Strix could also be the pick that we see here.
True.
It is a decent map for him, but it might be better for Vic. But
in this
Leon
game, you
have that
win or you
anti-flank
die.
pressure.
There is no middle ground.
Decent wrecker. Not as good as maybe Cassie or Shaw.
Right.
But still pretty solid, and a good wrecker, I think, is going to be really crucial to All Business being able to take this map. Barrett Khan, very shield reliant, as we know, so having that potential to melt will make it a lot harder for those tanks to stay alive. They've had some struggle staying alive throughout this set, so I think it could be a good angle to take. Hard to say who I want to side with right now, though. I think after how Shadow and Vocal have been playing, it's hard to side against Renegades, but I think these drafts are pretty even.
I agree with that, too. I mean, Renegades, All Business, guys, this is it. Now we're looking at Stone Keep. We're going to pass it to the casters, though, so they could get this game started.
That's right, and it's another draft. If you're looking at the Renegades and the players on their team and their comfort picks, they'll be happy with what they got. Moonchopper on the Khan, Hero on the Barrack. Everything made better by an Inflame with the Furia. So another game where the Renegades should feel comfortable, but I cannot understate how, maybe surprised isn't the right word, but excited I am maybe that All Business, they've come to play and they're looking pretty dangerous here in this tournament.
Yeah, I think this game is going to depend pretty heavily. You get one Bomb King game under your belt, you start to feel the flow of the champion. You could argue Stone Keep, depending on where you've been playing him, will be a map that might feel more comfortable for you, even though I think Bright Marsh arguably is a little better. But this is one where if you can kind of, again, cinch that one tight, feel good for All Business, it will absolutely be a game changer. More pressure. And Vocal, we've seen what he can do on Cassie. No pressure on him. He's just going to play. Shadow, though, needs to go big. He was a big factor that let them win last map.
Fortunately, Davizzy absolutely pinched by everyone on the Renegades. Shadow grabs the first blood. All Business are on the point. Unbelievable is going to back off, rejoin the other three living members of his team as Moonchopper now, Battle Shouts, moves his way up. Just to flank around behind All Business. They're going to get back to full strength. Renegades had a number advantage. Only were able to get themselves 6% on the point. Moonchopper, patient, drops down, gets the kill onto Unby.
You know, being completely honest, I'm not sure why Davizzy was at the bottom of the stairs. There's no area around him where his team was like getting aggressive, where that made a positional advantage sense. Like it was just, he was down there alone, isolated, and well, he got picked because he couldn't get into cover fast enough. And now you're starting to see the repercussions, I think, kind of come down through. But they've managed to maintain, getting Unbelievable back on the objective, 51-63. There's not a big gap lead for the Renegades.
It's only been Renegades kills, granted only a couple of them, but All Business have hung right in there. Davizzy, good rotation onto Shadow. Now you're missing that flanking presence, a good damage presence as well from the Renegades, and they're going to have to back off. 75% in climbing for All Business. Ziggs flying high thanks to Invocal. 90% walled off. Hero will be able to drop down onto the point. No dome shield just yet for him. Going toe-to-toe with Unbelievable, something we've seen time and time again this set. Overtime begins. Ice Storm goes down. Looking for Toot Toot for the first blood, and the Renegades find it.
Just being able to set that up. Once Toot Toot's gone, the rest of the fight becomes a lot easier for him. Moonchopper can move in, and they're going to be able to get rid of Hero. Viral, it's going to be a 2 for 2.
Enlightenment clipped Viral on the side. No more healing. Madara up from the high ground. Shadow has to reset overtime. Unbelievable. Is able to get the kill onto Moonchopper.
Wow.
And no frontline presence there. All business. They weather that storm, and they grab point number 1.
That was a great turnaround. Again, losing Toot Toot has been one of the most impactful things against All Business.
Yeah.
So that was not quite enough. And a rare turn of events as well. This deserves a highlight. 3-1 for Moonchopper, while Invocal's still 0-0. Moonchopper putting up the numbers for his team. Playing big so far, but wasn't enough to isolate that point. We'll have to see how they manage the defense, and well, if they can just stay afloat even after using that dome shield.
That was a bit of a low light. He did miss the overpower a moment ago. Highlight of that, though, is you go back to 30%, so he's going to get it relatively quickly here. And Vocal kind of on a flanking mission, following up behind Moonchopper. Shadow looking for one more shot for grouped up members of All Business. This is an area where the Renegades, if we're able to capitalize on this positioning advantage, defense maybe becomes a little bit easier, and it looks like they're doing just that.
3 kills. Nice, smooth area now, I think, at this point to be able to hold on to it.
Yep.
This is where things get interesting on this map, because you're not yet at the choke point that standardly, as a word that I'm making up right now, holds you back.
Typically?
Typically is the right word.
There we go.
That typically holds you back. It's gonna take a lot for the retake, because you have to come through and, well, do a lot different from what you're doing right now. You need to come in and slaughter the Renegades just to get back to the payload. Then you have to move forward through the archway, which is gonna isolate you into pretty much one of 3 chamber doors. And then you have to figure out where you're gonna go. They're gonna be able to make the first leg of that trip.
Yeah.
Madara might be the one to open the door to make sure they can get through the second.
Sometimes it just starts with a couple of kills, and that's what All Business have found here with Hero, the most recent to go down. Shadow, one more time in this game. In the set, is going to be in behind All Business, maybe for the re-engage. Davazy and the rest of the team privy to it. Just going to keep an eye back there. Still know where he is. 20 seconds remaining now. All Business with everything but the Whirlwind, but that's going to be back quickly. This is going to be it. I mean, at this position, one more fight, the Renegades have to hold on for a defense. All Business can push it in if they win it on their side. Shadow blinks on Brute. Dome Shield's going to get used here by Hero.
Davazy being held at bay right now by Shadow. They're going to be able to come through. They get rid of Unbelievable. A lot of pressure on a Toot Toot who doesn't have the health bar.
Nice. Davazy on this Leon finds a couple of kills. It's him versus Invocal. Enlightenment connects with the shield of Hero. Davazy kind of last man standing down here on the point for himself. Then Xenost is going to move forward. Gets the kill onto Hero. Moonchopper has to be careful here. Once that shield goes down, he's going to be low, but not before Unbelievable has now back and joined the fight.
Moonchopper floating around half health. Shadow going to get aggressive, but that's the seismic crash. They're going to go for this one as hard as they can. And Vocal in the backline. Xenos traded out for Shadow. There's no healing, but the tanks are alive.
And Madara goes up to the high ground as well. Viral finally gets the kill, but it's a big double kill from Davazy on this Leon. The defense looked great from the Renegades, but it's starting to crumble. This payload goes in, and All Business go up 2. That was like a 2-man mission there at the end. Unreal.
I don't know who to give all of the... I think Davazy. At the end of the day, I think the tanks go down. I think they save it. I think Xenos helps keep things alive. But Davazy made like a hero play in the middle of all of that, where he gets aggressive, gets a couple of kills, and is the one contesting the payload. The fact that he stayed alive through that is amazing. And that... I've watched a lot of Paladins. That has to be one of the best Stone Keep ending pushes that I have seen from a team.
They used everything, and they used it well. They were smart. I mean, yeah, there's a point there where it was...
Yeah, you're poor coming into this round, aren't you?
I guess. I mean, it was Davazy and Xenos there for a moment, and then Davazy died. Unbelievable came back. Xenos, I mean, it was the perfect kind of rotation, and they were able to grab some trades that kept them in it. Now, Renegades down 2 one more time. Are going to look to get something going on this mid-fight. Able to do so. Double kill from Shadow. Drops the Ice Storm as well. Invocal cleans up the final kill. 2 for Hero, 2 for Shadow, 1 for Invocal. And the Renegades with fast cap with a great chance to get a point on the board.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get overtime on this one. In fact, it might be impossible with any dismounts that come through. You need someone fully mounted up, able to kind of slip through the ranks. No one's going to be able to do so. And in pretty much opposite form of how the last round ended, this round started, where it's just a beautiful amount of rotations, good ult usage from all business, everything going right to what we just saw.
Renegades. Again, this is a 2-1 scoreline. It's a big kind of game momentum shifting point. All business have had these mid fights figured out throughout most of this set, so getting a 3rd point on the board on defense here makes you nervous if you're the Renegades. A couple kills being traded back and forth. Overpower was used by Moonchopper. Not enough to give them a full-blown advantage here. Disengage back onto Madara, not enough to really displace him. This is where a Bomb King is going to feel nice and comfy, though, Gore.
It's perfect for him, right? Close quarters, everyone right in his territory. Now he can take a peek at his loadout. King's Court, King's New Cloak, Royal Decree all at 4, and then a little bit on the back end just to fill out the loadout. But really what you're looking at is give me 200 health, give me reload speed, and let me heal a little every time I detonate. This is going to let me self-sustain, let me stay aggressive, and admittedly keep playing. There's almost never downtime for you.
Right.
If we watch Madara for extended periods of time, he should very little time of essence where he can't get a kill, right? Where he won't have enough ammo. He's also got 7 shots there instead of the normal 6, which I think is going to keep him going just a little longer as well.
So that 1-point card grabs the 1 extra ammo.
It's useful. One extra bomb will save you.
You're not wrong. A little extra healing, a little extra of what the other 4-point cards are providing for you.
Yeah.
So now he's up on the high ground in another good position for him, and Flame used by the Renegades. 1-for-1 trade so far. Xenost and Toot Toot, the casualties here for all business. So now Sustain is the name of the game. If you're AB, unbelievable, back behind his wall. Moonchopper's going to drop down. Shadow's right there to get the kill. So 12 seconds on that respawn from Uranara. Renegades are starting to spend some ultimates, though, trying to tie this game up.
Behold the archway, though. That is, well, where teams will meet their demise. If you can break through, it's very difficult. It's slippery on the other side. Nice wide open area, fishbowl effect, as you have all business come out of their spawn, respawn proximity, and high ground against you. And Hero's already looking low.
Here's Low, has to sustain, not able to do so. Toot Toot gets the kill onto him, but not before Invocal trades out right back onto Toot Toot. 4v4, respawns are going to be closer. Madara knocked on back, and Vocal gets the kill. Could be a miracle play to keep the Renegades in this game and grab them a point on the board, but Xenos is able to get the kill onto Moonchopper. That's not great if you're the Renegades, so a great play from Invocal, not enough to keep him in it. All business 1 away from grabbing win number 2.
I'm also going to give some credit over to Madara because that is one shot you never expect.
Yeah.
First off, you don't expect to get disengaged off the map if you're Bomb King back there. So beautiful shot from Invocal, but the mentality to immediately try to poppy back on is very difficult to do. It might not even be possible to do, but the fact that he just immediately went for it showcases where his mind is at. And I'm going to tell you, it's a dangerous spot to be going up against if you're the Renegades. 3-1 right now. All business. With Davosy playing the way he is, this is looking real good.
Well, there's so much conversation around, well, Bugsy's not going to be here, Closar's not going to be here. How do the 2 new guys slot in? They've done just fine.
I thought this was going to be 4-0, 4-0 for Renegades. We're going to win. It was going to be uninteresting. Because that's typically how, when you have 2 subs coming in, that's what it's like most of the time. This has been such a pleasant surprise, but starting it off already, Renegades at least keeping themselves afloat by getting rid of 2-2.
Would get a 1-for-1. Most of the Renegades kind of hugging that church side with all business up here on the keep side of things. Madara being sustained. Him and Davosy up on the high ground. That's a dangerous combo. Dropping down a few bombs. Shadow looking to win the fight, and Vocal comes to save the day and gets the kill now onto the Bomb King. Unbelievable falls as well. Looking like a good mid-fight here from the Renegades. Still a chance for all business. Not a clean sweep, but fast cap on their side.
They're hanging around. What I'd love to see, Toot Toot hanging around the area. Drop your assert dominance to be able to hold on to overtime. It'll be perfect place if you can get there. But you have to get there, and that's going to be the key. He's going for it, and he's going to be able to land on target.
He goes up, he goes down, and it's right back onto the point. Renegades can back off. No game to win here just yet, and Vocal gets the kill onto Davosy, getting rid of that Leon. So important here in these mid-fights. Whirlwind to keep all business into the fight, and Vocal, big double kill now as Xenost backs off within an inch of his life. Moonchopper finishes it off. Unbelievable is going to fall as well. Toot Toot. No more cooldowns to keep him alive, and all business are going to fall, and Renegades 1 more point with a chance to tie.
And Vocal needs to make double his salary. Like, this guy, he is the team at this point. There's a lot that's going on that's enabled the rest of them. I think Viral's having a phenomenal game as well. A lot of good damage coming down from the support. 42k, but the healing has been perfect. But I mean, he's 14-4-14. And Vocal is the reason they're staying afloat. He saves Shadow during that first engagement. It makes it very difficult for Madara to do what Madara wants to do. Focuses out Davozy. He is the driving force right now. He is the bolt that is going ahead of the team and keeping them, well, right now in this game and alive so far, even in this set.
Make it 15 now for Invocal, and Inflame paired with that Cassie was enough to grab the kill. Toot Toot sent off the map. Small advantage for the Renegades. They're maybe itching to tie up this game right here. All Business don't have a lot of ultimates to defend with either. Davozy in a perfect position to cleave down some damage. Shadow blinks through. Nothing to be found there. Bull just hanging out back behind his wall. Hero with the shielding doing the same. Watch out, Invocal's in a good spot for maybe another disengage play.
He's holding the same angles. You're looking at Madara in the same spot, going for some Hail Mary bombs. Not going to be able to find anything other than a kill onto Hero. No kills yet onto Invocal or Viral, both painfully low. There's going to be some healing. It's going to keep him alive. And Invocal, honestly, he's enough to hold this line.
Wow, Invocal. Talk about a clean rotation of skills. Explodes Davozy. They were full on the back foot there. That one kill is enough to allow them to kind of turn this corner here. He is peaking a little bit more than Moonchopper is at the moment. So maybe they look to kind of alternate that around. One pick, enough to maybe keep them in this position, but not enough to move them forward. Both teams back at full strength.
Luckily for them, this is where they need to kind of hold. If you're looking for overtime, this is a perfect spot to be in. They got 30 seconds left. You can maybe inch that payload forward a little bit.
Yep.
But I actually think this is the perfect position for overtime and conversion play to be made.
Watch out, they're going to use their Inflame. Are they able to get really anything from it? Unbelievable, a little bit far forward, and Vocal finds the kill as if anyone else would for the Renegades. Few more shots as Toot Toot drops down, and Vocal's still in a good position. Toot Toot gets the kill onto Hero. Not before being traded out, though. Now it might just be down to Davozy to cleave some good damage down onto the Renegades here. Has his Enlightenment, and Vocal gets the kill, but the moment Moonchopper goes down, that's enough, because Hero was still back at base respawning, so one more defense now for All Business. Still got to win a mid-fight if you're the Renegades to stay in this game.
I think the good news for All Business really does come down from the fact that Madara is taking all of Invocal's brain power right now, right? Like, Invocal is honed in on killing Bomb King. A lot of that last push, and the push before it, has been focused on Madara. A lot of the point fight focused on Madara. It hasn't let Davozy go scot-free, but it's allowed him to be in a good position to burn down the tanks, which is where the issue is starting to crop up for the Renegades. I'm going to say it again because it's the same strategy. If you kill Invocal, if you can get to him first, end that 18 streak burning for the Cassie, then you make your life a lot easier. You might even just win the game off of it.
He needs one more kill to break 20. Unbelievable. Drops down Seismic Crash. Only Ghosts standing around that corner. Nobody that you can stun up. Hero drops the Dome Shield as well. Madara looking to reposition himself. One shot to end his life. They're not able to find it, but the rest of the dominoes are falling here. If you're the Renegades, you're happy with the way that this mid-fight is going. 42% for All Business, but total space control for the Renegades.
This pincer between Invocal and Shadow is just working so well for them. All Business don't know how to handle it. They will not choose a single target. In every single one of these fights, Shadow's really low. Maybe we should go for Shadow. No, Invocal's really low. He's hitting me. I need to hit him. And each time, they're throwing 2 shots one way, 2 shots the other. If you miss with one on each side, you're not getting enough damage to kill any individual member of Renegades.
It's clean positioning from Invocal as well. Now with only 3 left for All Business. Might be early, but I'll call this mid-fight done. Renegades looking like they're in a great spot for point 3. They got one more chance now, Gore, to try to end this game. But this has kind of been a flip from what we've seen, where the Renegades now seemingly have these mid-fights figured out.
And honestly, this one feels like they've figured out where the pressure might need to be on All Business. We've been highlighting Toot Toot a lot, and admittedly, it's because he was the one who really shut down Moonchopper in Game 1. Since then, they have been doing a lot more. Also, Annihilation here for Invocal. That's 15 killing blows.
That was a sneaky shot.
So that's 8 kills in his streak that he has just as an elimination, not as the final hit for him. But 23, 4, and 15.
I nearly missed that.
There's just so much.
The bolt went like, I'm thinking he's aiming at Unbelievable, and the bolt flies right over the Inara's shoulder and connects with Xenost. Pin perfect accuracy there from Invocal. Moves him to 23. Shadow uses the Ice Storm, and that's going to push back Xenos. Madara down as well. Shadow's able to get out alive. Blinks back in. Tutu turns around, grabs the kill. Commander's grab. He might have to win this engagement against Moonchopper. Overpower. It's standing there and waiting, and it connects in flame burning away. Unbelievable tries to use the assert dominance. It's not going to be there. Payload starting to move in. If you're all business, you might have to drop down some ultimates to keep yourself in this game. What are the respawns there? I'm not so sure, Gore, especially not with Xenos going down. Madara's going to do the same. Davizzy into the Enlightenment. Need one more miracle play from him, but a triple kill from the Renegades from Shadow himself is going to help push them forward. Assert dominance up, but it never comes down. Unbelievable. The last man standing. And once he goes down, Payload goes in, and Renegades move to set point.
And exactly what I would have expected out of them today. If this were the first 2 games that we've seen, makes a lot of sense. The first map has left kind of a mark, I want to say,
I agree.
against the Renegades' permanent record for this one. But as of right now, I think we're starting to see them start to pull together a little bit. A lot of good play coming down from Invocal and Shadow. Viral, he's not flashy. He's not getting a ton of kills. It's not something that you maybe expect to see out of Vex or Cuss, where it's like, oh, this ult got 3 kills. But he is a driving force right now for the Renegades, keeping them alive in a lot of these. Moonchopper shaped up his game a lot in the last couple as well. So as long as they can keep on this mark, they're looking like they're going to go ahead.
I agree. It's so easy to highlight Shadow and Invocal, and for good reason. I mean,
they make it
closing
really easy
in
to do.
on 20 kill games every single time. The rest of the Renegades around them starting to play well. Viral, I agree. Big game from him on Stone Keep. One more win for the Renegades to move on and drop all business down to the losers bracket. Find out how it plays out right after this break.
Welcome back, guys. The Renegades 2-1 over All Business. They broke the tie. Stone Keep already said and done as well. Renegades are looking absolutely amazing, and they've finally been able to find that string, that momentum that they need to be able to keep pushing on forward and hopefully close out the set.
Coming back from being down, too, is a big thing, and they managed to do it in that game on the backs of, again, more strong DPS play by them. I think Moonchopper also doing a pretty good job locking down the sides, not really letting Ash get away with too much from the other side, just keeping good control. Even after the first rounds went a little bit out of whack, Invocal just said, guys, I'm just going to not die again.
Yeah.
And that seemed to be enough.
Y'all mind if I carry real quick? Because my goodness, look at the damage. 166,645 between him and Davizzy throughout this set. Well, that map specifically was literally direct damage versus direct damage. It was a fight between the two of them, and you could tell. I mean, look at the kills right here. I mean, once again, Davizzy and Invocal the top on both teams respectively, but Invocal is who we want to highlight. It's who we want to talk about. But 24, 4, and 20, that is lit. That is.
How can you not? I mean, how can you not after a performance like that, for sure?
That's what I'm saying.
He was undying in the later parts of the game. Very, very, very difficult to pin down. Hitting a lot of these long-range shots, knock people off. Did that actually kill? Oh, it actually did kill Z.
Yeah, it did.
That was a sick disengage for sure by Invocal, but yeah, an unreal performance by the man. This isn't even his first annihilation in PPL.
No, it's not.
It's not even his first annihilation in PPL. He got it on Drogo's on Splitstone Quarry forever ago. That's not even the first one. That should go to show the quality of a player that Invocal is. And
they know. They know.
Can you just do that again?
Yeah.
What do we have to do to make that happen one more time? Because that might lead to us being able to take this set.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to argue whether he can actually, we've seen so many times consistently that he has had these types of performances where sometimes he's been the driving force behind why the Renegades have been able to win certain games or take certain maps off of these teams. And that is so, so important, especially if you want to be able to close out his set. Both him, Shadow, really all of the Renegades have to be able to find something that's going to allow them to be like, here's what we did these last couple of games. We have to be able to close this out here.
The tags have been performing well, too, in terms of shutting down the other tags. And that's been a big deal because that means that 2-2 and Unbe can't do anything to stop the rampage of Invocal and Shadow.
That's true. We'll have to see where we are going, though. This is all business map pick. It's going to be Ascension Peak. Okay. This could be the last map, too.
Could be. And this is a map where you can play almost... There's not really too much that I'm like, oh, that's bad on Ascension Peak. Right. It's kind of flexible in terms of what you can run. We've seen Drogo, even though this map is pretty open, you can still play Drogos on it. Get away with quite a bit. Eevee and Strix banned, I think. Not too surprising. Honestly, this is the first time All Business has been first pick. I want to see if they're willing to let Makoa and Atlas through.
Yeah.
If that's the game they want to play. I wouldn't be shocked if that is the case. See what their second ban is, and I think that's what they're deciding right now. Because Renegades is perfectly fine with banning them in. I'm just going to pretend like that didn't happen for Invocal's sake. Eevee and Willow both banned by All Business, which means power tanks will be on the table once Renegades do their second ban.
Indeed. They will have to see what they want to get rid of. Who do they not want to deal with more? It's going to be a matter of what power tank don't they want to actually encounter is the deal. It's going to be... I mean, I don't know who it's going to be. I mean, they really just have the time
They should leave both open.
Really?
On
really?
second pick, yeah. On second pick, you don't ban
that's true.
one.
That's true.
Because
That's
they
a
get
good
one,
point.
and then you get the answer to the
That's
other
true.
and your own.
100%
So
true.
I wouldn't be shocked just to see like a backline band here maybe. Or Atlas. Oh, I don't know if I like that, Renegades.
Yeah.
All Business will now get a relatively unanswered Makoa. There's definitely responses to Makoa that Renegades can pick. There's Cassie, there's Sky, a couple different things that can come out to deal with everyone's favorite Dredge, Anchor, and Turtle, but it's not a great way to start, especially considering the skill that we've seen from All Business so far in the set.
Yeah, with how things have been, despite Renegades winning, they're the ones that broke the tie. They're the ones that are now up a game and potentially with the power to close out the set. With how close things have been, I agree with you, Kresnik. I would personally not allow them to get that Makoa because of the potential that it could have, especially on this map, especially on this Ascension Peak. They answer with the Khan, oh yeah, now I definitely don't like the Makoa. Yeah, they
don't like giving them the Makoa.
I don't like giving them the Makoa. Yeah, I don't like the idea that Renegades have given them the Makoa because they've got the Ashe, they got the Io. That literally means here, sit on point. We're going to be able to apply pressure and lock them out. Even with that Cassie, even with the Khan, you have the abilities to be able to counter the Makoa and the Ashe with Khan and Cassie respectively. But still, you've given up one of your power tanks. You have the Barrack that's being hovered right now. But I personally am liking already All Business's composition despite what Renegades have.
Yeah, having Makoa and Ashe with an Io is great because that's two very aggressive compositions, and you just let Luna cap the point.
Yeah.
You can walk straight at them. All Business have this super aggressive draft, and I'm not sure if Renegades are going to be ready for it.
Yeah.
Cassie will do a pretty good job, I think, at knocking them back and shredding them. That is definitely a dream start of a draft for Cassie for sure. Makoa and Ashe are the worst tanks, I think, to play into her. Big game just annihilates them. Decent response by Renegades, though. I'm not unhappy with that draft. I'm just unhappy when I look at the other side of the table, and I realize that as soon as they hit a hook, I'm done for. And we know that Toot's good enough to confirm those hooks.
That's true. 100% true. I mean, Maeve is who's being hovered on All Business's side. Literally last two characters that they can pick. And it's going to really try and guess decide who they want to go for.
Give me Vivian.
Vivian? Okay.
I want to see a Vivian.
You would just for the shield break, like being able to actually just lock people down. I mean, you've got the Luna to sit on point.
Yeah.
So you want the Vivian.
The Vivian can push in with them. The off tanks will
Right.
do so much pressure, they're not going to look at her, and a free firing Vivian can win you the game.
Right.
Opportunity and Chaos, once that goes on, her Wrecker will be very powerful, but
So
Leon is
okay.
probably a little bit safer.
Yeah.
Vivian was my spicy pick of the game.
Okay.
A little bit of little dash of Sriracha in that draft.
Okay, I understand.
But was not quite what they wanted for sure.
Yeah, the spice didn't hit for sure.
No, Maven Eevee. Maven Leon are going to be the picks for all business. Maven for mobility, Leon for melting any flanker that Renegades decide to do. Man, imagine they go Cassie Sky. Imagine that's the game they want to play.
Yeah.
Just kind of a slower burst game. Sky has some self-sustain with the smoke bomb. You can run that card that self-heals her. So
that's true.
They want to do what they could. Realistically, we're probably going to see. We're probably going to see a flanker.
Was that your other spice pick?
What was Sky? I mean,
yeah,
I called Sky when the Makoa was picked.
Oh,
if it does come through, but I wouldn't be. It would surprise to see it come through. And the second backline's going to be the answer instead, which I guess means they're going to play really far back.
Yeah.
And that might not be the best idea. Normally you do that because you're like, oh, well, they're sending both off tanks in, so they're not capping. But IO kind of covers that weakness. That might not be the answer from Renegades.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, I'm not too sure how I think about having a double backline would be in this case, because literally what they're doing is that means that, like you said, they're going to be playing backline, but they're affording to give up a lot of space. Zen, how do you feel about that? That might be that's definitely better, I think.
Could be Guillotine also.
Right, exactly.
Guillotine could be an interesting pick to deal with these tanks, burn them down before they can do anything. Either that, or he's just going to play super sustain-y. Smolder or something. It's going to be Yomi. If it's not Guillotine, it's going to be Yomi. I say Smolder because I want to see it. I know I'm not. Probably going to just be dueling the side, slowing down the Maeve, and making it so if they dive a target, if they don't immediately get a kill, the dive wasn't quite as successful on All Business's side. And Zin's not a character you can easily dive and immediately kill. He has so many cooldowns that just buy time. That could be what Renegades are going for with that pick.
That's true. I mean, they have the potential to tank shred. I mean, you've got big game, you've got Guillotine if they actually do go with that, if they don't just stick with the Yomi. But whose draft do you like more?
I can't side against Makoa, man. Especially being played by a player like Toot.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that too, man. But this could be it. Renegades could close this out. Can they? What do you guys think?
Renegades looking to move on to the next round. I think interesting prioritization in that draft phase for the Renegades. Of course, I guess if we're looking at alternatives, you ban something else, leave the Atlas up, and then you take whichever of the two is left. In this case, they ban the Atlas, give away the Makoa, grab themselves a Khan and Cassie first two picks. They're feeling confident that they've got enough to deal with Makoa.
I will admit, I think the mindset is that if they don't ban Atlas, right, Makoa, Atlas come through, all business are going to take Makoa anyway.
Yes.
And let's face it, Moonchopper does not have as good an Atlas as he does a Khan.
Sure.
It might be comfort coming down there. It also might be a misstep. We'll have to see. Toot has been the talk of the town for all business, although DavoZ on Leon last game was huge. Now you get to combo them together with this Hook-Leon combo. That could be more than deadly.
Yeah, DavoZ, despite a loss, a great performance on Stone Keep. As the desk mentioned, Renegades looking to move on in this winner's bracket and send all business down with one more win here. And if Invocal keeps playing the way he has, and it looks like he just might, this is going to be a big hill to climb, quite literally on Ascension Peak for all business.
Now, I'm starting to wonder if it really matters what the four other champions are if you get Invocal on Cassie. Like, I don't think you care about the rest of the draft. I mean, ideally, I guess you get Hero on a point tank and Moonchomper on a off tank and Shadow on something that does damage.
Healer just pouring heals into
well, you know what? It's not too far-fetched. You give Shadow Grok.
Okay.
You give, well, Viral Genos, I think, is the right spot for him. Hero would take Io, gives you some point presence. And then give Moonchopper Grover, let's say. You fall into that, and then you just put Invocal right here, front and center. I think they could actually win with a draft like that when Invocal plays the way he does.
I'm bought in. That's a game-winning draft there. Unfortunately, it's not what they have right now, and what we do have is DavoZ kind of countering out that Invocal. It's been exchanging punches for the two of them, the direct damage dealers for both of these teams. Now 96% for all business. One more fight to decide point number one here. Viral, no good on the through time and space. Madara hits the important daggers. All business get themselves on the board first. A bit of a fizzle there after a great start from the Renegades.
And I think it's a rare moment, 2.5 minutes in, to think, hey, let's look at the slash lines, but there's going to be a story here, and it is a 2 in the death column for Invocal. That's where they're winning. It's get rid of Cassie, win the game. It's the same thing that has been causing them trouble this entire time. Granted, they've also been able to put Hero and Shadow down, but Invocal goes really big for them, helps them get their, 99%, and then isn't there for the rest of the fight because of his deaths, and that has made it a lot easier for PWC to get 12k damage ahead of him, and to start kind of keeping this more in favor of All Business.
Kind of a fun storyline to follow. Unbelievable, obviously, traditionally the point tank for All Business with the kind of double aggressive off tank, commonly paired with the IO. Going to be playing the Ashe this time around, so we're going to get a good look at that. Overpower onto the Makoa. Oh, he lands on the corner! Oh, he dies anyway. But that was nearly disastrous. Still a great play from Toot Toot. The perfect shell spin distance. But unfortunately sent back to base nonetheless.
Exactly the amount he needs, no more, no less, to get him right into a position to get shot to death, but still not to die off in the actually comfortable-looking clouds on the side of Ascension Peak. But either way, it's going to reset this back a little bit of ways. All Business in a pretty good spot to get aggressive. And again, never underestimate Makoa, especially when he has Ancient Rage.
Right.
And Davozy behind him on this Leon. This is going to be a deadly combo the entire time, and Invocal looks to be the one kind of feeling it the most.
Moonchopper a bit up on his own there. And Madara grabs those kills. A bit of a slow roll here. A hush has fallen in this game. A couple kills just getting traded back and forth into the Billow. Stays alive, Invocal with the last couple of bolt shots. I mean, this is really where you buy your space. Shadow, I think, tried to use the Spite to reposition. I saw the cooldown go back to 30, so it did not connect. You got to be careful here if you're the Renegades. Just try to trade out, try to just buy as much time as you can, because in reality, Gore, one big fight from All Business, and this thing goes in.
And this giant archway right in front, much like Stone Keep, it's the place where you're going to be looking for the hold. 5 seconds left, though. They're going to get overtime, no problem. The question is how well Renegades can hold them back. They're getting a lot of good kills, but Davozy's getting pocketed.
Davozy got so aggressive there, slid in, used the Enlightenment, no connection onto Invocal. That's who he was looking for. Instead, Moonchopper grabs the kill. Toot Toot throws out the Ancient Rage. There's still maybe a fight to win here. Swings away, gets the kill onto Hero. Now Invocal, dodge rolls in, tries to connect on his last few shots, and you can't bet against him to do that. Toot Toot shell spins out. There's still a Fox. Back on the payload there. That's just going to buy some time. Ends up meaning nothing, and Renegades tie up this game.
That fight between Toot Toot and Invocal is the perfect example of the dynamic between Cassie and Makoa.
Sure.
And that is, Cassie's going to kill you because big game does a ton of damage to you. Unless you get your hook. In which case, you're going to kill Cassie because you seed her just enough to get off that one shot that you needed, or those 2 shots that you needed to make sure she was gone. And that's the amount of control it takes. I mean, this guy, he's honed in, and it's dangerous. We've seen this countless times, countless lands, across countless teams, whether they come in as the bottom seed or not. Invocal is a consistency in the Premier League that you, like you said, you can't count against him. And now, more than ever, you need to be able to find his weak points.
I mean, not out of the tournament if you lose this set for All Business, but definitely gets a lot harder to qualify towards the quarterfinals. Viral is going to throw out through time and space one more time. Hasn't connected yet this game. Invocal mid-air shot onto Unbelievable is going to counter out that assert dominance. Sometimes that doesn't pay off, though, where now Unbelievable will have it for a better time later in this fight.
It's honestly going to potentially look good for him there, keeping a little bit of a hold onto it. It allows for a retake on equal footing. Renegades looking at 78, 80%. Be able to find some good control. If Unbe can just get back there, he'll be fine. Unfortunately for him, he's off the map.
That's a great overpower from Moonchopper just to get rid of one more threat. Shell spin in from Toot Toot, trying to slowly make his way into the corner. The body blocks are there. If you're the Renegades, you're fine to trade out your life just to buy some time, and they're actually winning the fight after the fight here. Davozy traded out by Moonchopper, who's got a couple of kills under his belt after this mid-fight goes down into the battle shouts to keep him alive. 400 health. The important thing, though, is point number 2 on the board for the Renegades.
And the longer this game's going on, the more I think Renegades wanted All Business. Like, it's at that moment where we don't want to ban Atlas or Makoa. It feels like they knew they could handle Makoa a lot better. Toot Toot while there's been times that he's seemed unmanageable, they've still managed to keep him at least a little locked down. He's gotten a lot of bang for his buck, but there have been a good few moments where it's just like, all right, Invocal, we know you can hit your shots, we know you got big game, kill the turtle. Just don't focus on anything else, get rid of him.
Yep. Quiet game for Shadow on this Zen. Haven't seen a lot of kind of flash out of that. As I mentioned, it grabs kind of a long-range shot onto Madara.
Some of us call that a Zen game. After those nerfs, not really known for being loud anymore. And he's coming through. You can see a little more focus onto his health and trying to keep Billow up, mainly because Billow now doesn't last anywhere near as long. He has some cooldown reduction in it, and he's just trying to make sure he always has that to stay safe. Before, you were guaranteed like 5-6 seconds of I don't have to worry about anything. Now you can still get shot out of it towards the end.
Right. He's going to spite to reposition there, back to safety. 30% back on that cooldown, so not all is lost. It's kind of been like a 50-50 mix of what we see out of that ultimate. Half the time it's just repositioning, half the time maybe you find a kill with it. But here's all business now on the defensive side. Feeling comfortable. Looks like they're going to zone out right back to the mid-fight, and the Renegades are going to go searching one more time.
Searching for just a way back onto this. There's not going to be a lot of aggressive defenses coming down from All Business or Renegades. Neither of them have really been getting aggressive with their defense for dismounts, which is where teams like Na'Vi, Envy specifically come to mind. They can sell at that, Virtus Pro as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how overtime's going to go, because they're going to get there no problem. They have to stay alive in order to get there, though. And Madara goes down. Hero stays alive. That's a big sweep in favor of the Renegades.
Man, looking at where Invocal is. Oh, no. He disengaged into the hook, and it pulled him all the way out from the high ground. Unfortunate there for Invocal. Shadow's able to trade out, but without that Cassie, things are looking a little bit more dire here for the Renegades. All Business do have a 16 streak burning away on Xenos, their support. Halo's still moving forward. Sometimes all you need, one big through time and space, tilts this fight back, and Renegades go up 3.
Viral has through time and space. Could very much seal the deal, although you're only looking for a 3-1 lead here if you convert. So it might not be worth it.
Right.
Shadow gets a good kill on the side, and he's going for the snipe.
And they're getting everything. Dome Shield, through time and space, all connecting, all finding value. A double kill from the Zen. It's going to grab them a cap here. So they do use some ultimates. They're going to have the overpower, some other utility in there for this next mid-fight, but they go up 3-1.
Kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. You just spent a lot to go up 3-1 against a team that still has 4 ults. Give them comeback mechanic. They have the ult advantage.
Ooh, nice play.
There's a lot here that could go right, a lot that could go wrong for both sides. I think Renegades maybe playing with fire, banking a lot on the overpower. Definitely not on the spite. And, I mean, you have Ancient Rage. You have Be Gone. You have an Assert Dominance. And all 3 of those are going to assist, I think, in finalizing this objective. You can't afford to mess up here. One slip, and this point goes in favor of All Business. Granted, they can only tie it up this round, but sometimes that's all it takes.
I mean, consider that overpower up right now, as it will be in
now.
So maybe counters out the Assert Dominance, and sometimes how that's used gets cleaned up by Davazy before he's able to grab the kill. So now the overpower is down back to 0 because he connected. And there's still some ultimate advantage for All Business. Spite repositioned one more time from Shadow, way deep in the back line of All Business, maybe just to stagger himself out. No chance for the Renegades here. Or All Business didn't even have to use their ultimates, and they grab point number 2.
Yeah, that's not good. I'll be honest. Like, I can't figure out how to slice that any other way other than the fact that that was silver platter. Hey, guys, you want a point? Here's an objective. Here's the essentials of what we want to do. Maybe they were hoping for All Business to use a little more on the defense when they drop those ults, but All Business make the right call, where it's just they read what you're looking for, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, go up 3-1. Who cares? Like, you're not going to win the game off of this. And, I mean, you had called it. They used through time and space Scout, which you could argue is for or against them either way, but the Dome Shield as well makes it a lot easier to just, well, send Ash and Makoa to the point and say, all right, what up, Barrick? What are you going to do?
This set, if you look at the 3 games we've already played, the closest has been a 4-2 with a 4-3. The closest to this one is going to be a 4-2 if the Renegades are somehow able to defend. They can't even step foot out of their base right now. The hair's breadth away from going in. Hero has to rocket boots in. 2-2 shell spins out as the Renegades finally starting to leave their base, find some presence. There's nothing to really lose here for All Business if you back off. You have half the timer remaining to try to push this in.
Yeah, full minute. Again, to get back in here, close this one out, find it 3-3, and at least go into the next one.
And wait for that.
Again, if you are All Business, you maybe have, I would argue you can throw out Davozy. He can use his ult whenever he wants, especially if it gets a kill, 50% refund for the Leon. But burn anything and everything you can from the Renegades. Try to isolate Cassie, force her to use Scout for CC, or just kill her.
Yeah, if you can hook the Cassie, that's a dream scenario, especially if there's good follow-up for All Business, and there seems to be right now. Hero's dead, so now it's down to Moonchopper to move forward, contest his payload. Shell spin out from 2-2 to keep himself alive. Up goes the shield. Back to full strength now are the Renegades. Davozy, a linchpin in this All Business offense, has to stay alive. Hook in with the whirl out for Shadow to keep him alive. 15 seconds left, Gore, no picks just yet.
Still in a good position to go get overtime, although kind of lower health bars for the tanks here. It's not going to be made comfortable with Madara going down. Davozy has to back off. This is looking good for Renegades.
Yeah, they're looking good right now, especially with Hero grabbing a kill. Both front lines dead. Now the Renegades, they buy some time. Things got real close there. They chose the last possible second to drop down and get aggressive. But they stay in this game. They're up 3-2, so this is not a end-all, be-all mid-fight for the Renegades. It is, however, for All Business if they don't want to go down to that loser's bracket. Moonchopper on this con, you know, it's been on-off performance throughout the day. 7-7 and 15, kind of doing what you ask of him.
Pretty much falling even where he needs to. In Vocal, his slash line actually kind of catching up with him in response to that, right? Moonchopper's doing a lot better. In Vocal, 13 and 8. That's bad for this guy. So it's going to be a little more difficult there, but I like their itemization. A lot of Bulldozer. Now some Master Writings thrown in at the very end. Even one for Invocal, which should catch your eye the most. Just going to get him into a position to start maybe sniping out a little faster. But now you're going to see them get into pretty decent positions. Ults mean everything. Half a comeback mechanic here for All Business.
Unbelievable. I don't know if he meant to do that, but the through time and space went right underneath him. Wouldn't have been enough to execute nonetheless. But he does use that assert dominance to kind of hold down this corner. Hero rocket boots in aggressively. One more defensive spite from Shadow to get him out of danger's way. A big double kill from Davozy, looking for a little bit more down here to the left. All Business, they're at 93% already. They're going to get point number 3, and the Renegades defending now to save the game.
You know, the math checks out. They get one objective, full comeback mechanic, no ults. Half comeback mechanic, they have to make up for the other half missing with 3 of their ultimates there for All Business. But it pays off so far. An overpower used pretty early from Moonchopper here in the defense. Should charge up, theoretically, in the next 2 minutes just fine. But you're putting a little bit of a risk on this one. It's going to pause the push for a little bit, but put you in a precarious situation later in the round.
This is where you have to hold. Healing numbers even across the board. What do you think of the role that Iowa's played here for All Business? Kind of gone by the wayside of our conversations, but maybe a good time to bring it up.
She's been exactly fitted into where she needs to for this one, right? Where it's, I'm going to make sure the objective can move. I'm going to allow Toot Toot and, and everybody on this team to get aggressive without having to worry about it. Unbelievable's playing in a different style than we're kind of used to seeing him play because he doesn't have to point tank here. That's what Xenos has made his loadout to do.
And in the meantime, grab a couple of kills, why not, while we're talking about you. Xenos must have known. Made good use of the IO screen time here. Trying to pocket heal. There's a offensive spite from Shadow. No repositioning, but a kill to be had there, especially onto Toot Toot. That's big. One more time, All Business very close with a minute left. They're going to have to back all the way off. One shot from Invocal paired with the blast shot is enough to explode Davozy. It's now a minute left on the clock. Renegades defending for this game. Not the set just yet, but All Business. One more time, kind of in control of that ultimate economy.
Some deja vu coming through as they set up for this defense one more time. Although this time it's going to be met with a Midnight and an Ancient Rage as well. That's going to keep Toot Toot alive and in the fight.
He just jumped up and hooked Shadow over the top of Moonchopper. Didn't end up paying off too much, but Moonchopper has to dash away. Ancient Rage swinging away All Business getting the kills, All Business getting the win. They tie up this set, Gore. Renegades backs against the wall now. Momentum shifted right back towards your minor league European champions.
This is that moment for Renegades to stabilize more than anything. This is a team that has been pretty emotional throughout this phase. Admittedly, not too, far away from losses. They understand what it feels like to be in that position. So as long as they can kind of take this and just say, you know what, we still got one more game. You just have to do what you did 2 games in a row there to keep yourself alive. But now All Business come in, kind of feeling hot after that one as well. You can look at it. I mean, Makoa goes big towards the end. Change your drafting style up a little bit for the Renegades to make sure they don't get that again.
So then that's kind of now my follow-up question. I don't want to say is it lost in the draft, but is giving away Makoa just a little bit too much, you think?
I think it was
for free.
They had a good way to handle it, but there wasn't enough consistency in that. Once Invocal started getting handled a little more often, the hooks started finding him a lot. That made it a lot more difficult for, anybody on the Renegades to deal with them. And at the end, that Ancient Rage being up when it was, where it was, allows them to get aggressive, get some kills, and open up that push.
Well, game 4, that's another 4-3. This one has been contested across the way. Winner moves on in the winner's bracket. Loser drops down to the loser's bracket. Find out who it is in just a sec.
Do you think about the things we used to do? No, you couldn't stand tall. So why didn't you call? So many years has gone by, but I think about you all the time. Looks like you're changing and all, but why didn't you call? Something in the air, always something in the air. Inexplicable, I can feel it in the air. Can you feel me? Can you feel me? Can you feel me? Do you miss me at all? Do you think about the things we used to do?
Very, very surprising turn of events. All Business 2-2 with the Renegades. This is it. This is the very last game we'll be in this set. I mean, I'm really, really shocked by the fact that, not that All Business are doing really, really well. It's just a matter of who they're doing well against. Renegades, understandable. They're the last seed, Kresnik, but they aren't bad players. They have the means of actually winning, but this is still really close.
The strategy and the drafts from All Business are just really solid.
Yeah.
Honestly, across the board. That game, as soon as they got that Makoa, that IO, I knew it was going to be a tough one for RNG, and they got it to the brink. But again, the control on the mid-fight that All Business were able to get was just too much for them to overcome.
It was. We mentioned it before with the Makoa, the IO, the everything. It's just so strong all together. Once again, though, Davazy, 152,401 in terms of damage on his side, on All Business' side. And it's literally the Leon. Last time on Stone Keep, he did extremely well. When he did really well, even though they lost, All Business probably like, you know what? We'll just give you Leon again. Why won't that work out?
Well, he had a fantastic performance then, too.
He did, yeah, exactly.
I think he basically combined his kills in the first 2 games and his kills in these last 2 games, and I think it's almost like a 10 multiplier.
Yeah.
He's almost multiplied his kills by 10 since they started giving him Leon. I wouldn't be shocked to see Renegades try to take that away from him, but he's had a phenomenal performance ever since he was able to pick up that champion. Definitely a good look for him, and honestly, I think he could go back to some of the others now too. I think now that he's had the good game on that, right? He's had that pop-off game, and he's like, he can probably go back to anything. I feel like it might have been nerves that made him not maybe doing quite as well on that Cassie, on that Grok earlier. Could be able to come back maybe and help his team tear up a win on a little bit more of a flexible pool.
Potentially. But the Leon has worked out for him so well. Would you really try and give him something else despite his past 2 performances?
Depends on if Renegades try to take it away, I think
That's
is the
true.
thing. It's been his only, at least in this set, it's been his only dominant champion. So I wouldn't be
Right.
shocked to see that maybe fill the ban column instead of a Willow.
Right. I mean, we'll have to see if that's going to be the case. But first, we got to look at the maps. We got to see where we're going for this very last game. And it is Ice Mines, baby. This is it. What a map to end on.
Oh, if this set wasn't long enough.
Yeah, right, that's what I'm saying.
We're headed
Yeah.
over to Ice Mines
What
now
a
to
map to
potentially
end
round it
on.
out. Yeah, I mean, look at all these 4-2s, 4-3s. These teams are so evenly matched. And Ice Mines is only going to be even closer, honestly. And Renegade's banning out the Willow. It is Ice, so I'm not too surprised. And All Business actually respond with Cassie.
Interesting.
Vocals had some very dominant performances on Cassie, so I think that's a pretty smart ban from All Business for sure.
Yeah, it's a matter of, okay, so they're going to get rid of the Makoa, and All Business are going to get rid of the Atlas. They are just covering their options here in terms of power tanks. RNG, though, are going to be considering who they want for their very, very first character. Might be, I was about to say the Khan. They've locked it in before. Moonchopper's had some okay.
His performances on Khan have been much better than his earlier performances in this set. So
Correct.
I think them grabbing Khan is definitely smart, keeping him on a champion he's feeling comfortable with for sure. All Business, though, I don't think you can count any. I feel like you can't count any European team out on Ice Mines. I just feel like it's the pocket pick for those teams. When I was all the way back on Gangstars, I remember having our manager was an ex player, Navron, and he always had something weird on Ice Mines for us to try. So I never want to count out team for having those strategies, having those answers. Potentially, we'll see what All Business decide to do here, though. What's left? I'm assuming they're going to take their point tank and probably a strong blaster would be my guess. Maybe Drogos, maybe Bomb King, all great picks on this map, but they want to go for the double tank line instead.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a bad idea.
That has been consistent. That has been so consistent throughout this entire set with All Business. Double front line, not shying away from it, not picking anything else. They want the double front line. They want to be able to lock these in. These tanks are important, and because of that, RNG, once again, have had the flexibility with their drafts. They've been the one that's been able to plan out a lot more since their roles already fulfilled on All Business' side. They've got the Bomb King. They're looking at the Barrack. It's more than likely going to be locked in. You've got your Blaster. You've got both of your frontliners now, and it's looking pretty good. I mean, the only thing it is they have to pick left is really their other DPS. They wanted to be a flank or whoever else, and their support.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of what options. If this is the pick for Renegades, I'm trying to think of what options they have to answer. One thing I'm thinking of is maybe All Business do have the Inara Ashe, right? And the 2 supports on this map you always want most of the time is Genos. You want the dismount potential, right? What I'm thinking is maybe All Business go Genos Pip. Pip, fantastic on this map, and can supplement the healing that Genos will be lacking, right? So you grab both of them, you have that potential. You also take away the Genos from the other team, put Viral onto Ying. Viral's not bad at Ying by any means, but I think his Genos is significantly better. But actually, All Business might just be bypassing the dismounting altogether. Picking up this Grover, and that's good for healing on this map because the mid-fight is so close together. But I don't know. I think missing out on that might let Renegades get too aggressive.
Potentially. I mean, we'll have to see, of course, if that is the case. But Grover Leon, I mean, they've got a strong back line. They've got some good healers. I mean, Ice Mines, I mean, the Whirlwind's going to be really, really strong. But that tells me as well that All Business are trying to end this sort of quickly. I mean, Grover will fall off later on in the game. We've seen it several times before. But Victor, the backline, and Genos are going to be who RNG decide to have. They have good dismounts. They have good pressure. But it's a matter of, I mean, their execution.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know. This is a fantastic draft from Renegades. All Business, I think, kind of dropped the ball by not trying to take away something from Renegades. But it's still a winnable game for them, for sure, with this composition. These are good picks on this map. I just think Renegades' draft synergizes a little bit better right now. They're going to have to end up with a Blaster. More than likely, Pip or Drogos will end this off for them. Unless they want to run that EV play, that flanker style. But I don't believe they have quite yet. Not really worth it to bring out, and it will be Pip supplementing healing even more and having that evil mojo to just completely swing the game around.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a very, very scary thing, especially on Ice Mines because of how polarizing it can be. I've described it this way before. A lot of people have as well. It's literally a tug of war. I mean, you win those point fights, you get that zone, and it's hard to be able to fight back. It is difficult. It is a slow climb to be able to try and get back to where you were before. And Pip can maximize on that with that evil mojo.
The big thing about Pip, I think, for All Business, considering the draft that Renegades has, that's not a sit-still draft that Renegades drafted, for sure. That is a go-in kind of draft. Pip, what he'll do is when they show up, right, they'll get aggressive, they won't get dismounted. Evil Mojo will help flip it around right away so they can potentially burn them and actually win the fight with the mounting disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be it for the drafts, guys. This is it, the final game of the very first set of day 1 of the qualifying round. We're going to toss it down to the casters to take us into this very last game.
That's right, game 5 on the board. Winner's bracket to win, loser's bracket to lose here. And you were excited maybe for the Renegades that we saw Ice Mines come out.
Yeah, I mean, this is their map, right? Like, this is the only map. This is their one consistency of this year. Oh, maybe except for now Virtus Pro, who have kind of started dominating on this one. But I give this one to Renegades. Against most people, for some reason, Ice Mines resonates with them. And it might be because what used to be Ice Mines was your map 3, we're down 2-0, and we want to like stabilize in this best of 5.
That's right.
Now it's year where, well, we're still down 2, but we're 2-2. We need to win 1, and this could be what does it. And a lot of pressure is coming down. Davazi more than likely going to be returning on that Leon, but the Pip will be the make or break factor, I think, for this one. Bomb King Victor, we know more than enough that Renegades are going to be consistent with this. Pip can absolutely stop them, but he has to go above and beyond.
Yeah, they banned out the Cassie to take that away from Invocal. I don't think there's too much of a drop-off from that to the Victor, though.
9 times out of 10 on Ice Mines, he wants Victor anyway. He doesn't care about that Cassie.
Absolutely true. I don't think that's something they'll mind. 15% to start for the Renegades as Madara looks to position himself for a bit of AoE damage. Catches one bomb up to the high ground. Shadow positioning himself somewhat aggressively. Frontliners both pairing up, plugging away at this Bomb King, making him think twice about which angles he chooses to hold tab as he looking to move forward as well. Moon Chopper into the Battle Shout. That shield is getting melted. Finally, there's the Battle Shout on the end of it, and this tug of war continues with no kills just yet.
Well, right now, you don't need any kills if you're all business. You've been doing, well, what you need to. That is control the objective, 63-42. Not a huge runaway lead, but enough to at least give you some confidence in your team's abilities. And this is looking like a fight that, well, I was going to say is going to be determined by the ult, but First Blood finally comes down.
And it might just be determined by First Blood. We're far enough here where if all business were able to win this fight, they're just going to run away with point number 1. Renegades hanging in there. Hero back behind his shield on the point. Davazi looking to kill the Barrack, unable to do so. Instead, Hero actually grabs the kill onto Xenos, and the Whirlwind was up. That might have won the fight for all business if it was available. Instead, the King Bomb now gonna round this corner. Gonna stun up 1. Not gonna grab the kill onto Davazi, but now a chance to zone for point number 1.
I would even argue maybe too cautious there from Shadow. Might cost him his life. No, the last shot's not gonna connect.
No.
Moon Chopper jumps over the blast and stays alive.
And Invocal grabs the kill at the end of the day onto Madara. Shadow as well onto Davazi. It's gonna spell the end of it. Patience, name of the game there for the Renegades.
Keeping themselves alive. They only have to use 1 ult, really, to get themselves there. They get 2 in response from all business. Sets them up for a pretty good downhill fight here on Ice Mines, which is long, arduous, is how I like to describe this one. It's difficult, but not impossible. And again, Renegades, this has been their map. This is something they know pretty well throughout the year. Causing trouble for even the top teams in the PPL here. All business, if they can get a win here, it's remarkable on so many different fronts.
And I still look back at Xenos in that mid-fight. I don't know exactly when that Whirlwind came up, but I know it was the first one really on the board, and he died, I think seemingly the moment that came up. If that Whirlwind was maybe used, or able to be used, rather, I think maybe a difference maker on that mid-fight, but didn't come out, and the Renegades were able to survive one more day. Unbelievable, grabbed by the Overpower, killed by Shadow. So still a minute and a half left, you know, despite kind of being long and arduous. Still a map that can move quickly once you get things rolling.
Yeah, I always like to joke that you used to need all 2.5 minutes to find the full push here. And admittedly, you do.
You do.
But it's because you're using a minute and a half just to get back to the thing when you get displaced. So you're going to be able to come through. A minute left. About 2/3 of the way to go here for Renegades. And it always, especially now more than ever in Game 5, is coming down to what are you willing to commit to it? How badly do you want a lead? If you are okay going 1-1, which admittedly, if I'm Renegades, I think I am. I think their draft just gets better with ults.
Yeah.
Try to pull out the Evil Mojo, though, before the end of the round. That's the only thing I think you can do other than a 2-0 that is going to be a win for you. If you can just burn that ult, it sets you up for success.
They're getting moving here. Rolling, as I put it a moment ago. Vocal just one burst away from getting the kill onto Madara, but hanging out right next to Xenos to make sure he's nice and healthy for this next fight. 20 seconds remaining. Contesting finally happening here from All Business. This is close enough. One big kill. Maybe all they need. Viral finds it. Shadow waiting for that wall to drop down. Decides he's waited long enough and repositions himself. Grabs onto that edge with the Poppy Bomb. But Davizi's able to get the kill onto Hero. That's a big momentum shift here. Whirlwind is used by All Business. That's maybe a big trade that Renegades will be okay with.
I think they're perfectly fine with it. Again, I think your ideal ult to get away is this Evil Mojo.
Yeah.
Madara, the only reason it didn't go well for him during that last round was more either you can budget it to error on his shots, or you can budget it to really, really good movement, mobility, and awareness from the Renegades. I'm thinking more of the latter, because Moonchopper straight up jumped over one of them, where Shadow went and ducked behind a wall. Keeps him afloat, keeps him going here. Well, like you said, Whirlwind, assert dominance, both not being available. Whirlwind being the one that it's going to charge up pretty fast, so you can never count it out. But for a initial fight, which sometimes it's all you need on Ice Mines, it could end up spelling devastation.
You have the King Bomb and soon to be the Dome Shield if you're Renegades. Some dismounts through here, catches all but 2, so 3 dismounts there for Viral. Could play a role. Relatively even, moving back in. Unbelievable, tosses the spear up to the high ground as their follow-up. Evil Mojo used as well, but one more time the Renegades were able to pop out of it with nothing for All Business. Now the barrage ringing down, but Davizi finds the long-range shots onto Shadow, looking to win the engagement against Hero. The reload's there, and the kill is not a one-for-one trade, but All Business right back to the point.
Looking for that
nice
shot, and he's going to be able to find it onto Toot Toot. He was so low, but it was between Unbelievable and him as to where those bullets were going to go. Was able to find that, and Unbe kind of left out to dry. He's going to be able to get some Grover healing, but got a nice 54%, stayed alive through all of that. Will be able to touch again. It's going to be up to Shadow to maybe make a divisive, divide on the map.
Not quite as all or nothing as we've seen on some of these Ice Mines mid-fights. Moonchopper snatches the overpower and throws Unbelievable off, so a big win there for them. Oh, he tried the Poppy Bomb up to the high ground. He's at least going to stun up Madara with it. Does he have the damage to burn him down? He doesn't. Enough healing to keep that Pip alive. Davizi in the meantime grabs a kill. Not with the Enlightenment though, still back down onto cooldown. Double kill for the Leon, looking to plug some damage into Moonchopper, who gets the kill onto Toot Toot in the meantime. Slides on through, big trade here, Unbelievable gets it, overtime expiring. But it's not for the Renegades, it's All Business right back on the point.
Moonchopper needs a shout, and well, maybe a little bit of a dream. There's through time and space. He could be able to get through, but no. They're gonna give that one up entirely. I think there's still a spot for a hold there, but I don't disagree with the choice to fall back either, because it's the choice of, do I maybe feed them a kill and hope that we can get something out of it?
Right.
Or do we just let them take it for a little bit and hope for the 2-2?
Especially when you consider Evil Mojo, again, no kills. Some of those early ultimates, no follow-up, the seismic crash up to the high ground. Things were looking great for the Renegades, but the retake just too strong from All Business. Shadow on this Bomb King. Starting to get something going for him, at least on the defensive side, as All Business pull all the way back. Trying to break through one more time.
I'm going to say a sentence that feels blasphemous to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Vocal's not doing too well this game. I mean, he's 4-3-10, and by Vocal standards, that's garbage. I mean, in Vocal, that should be, well, 10-3-4. He's starting to put a little bit more up on the line in terms of assists, since Hero's the one tacking on the kills. Shadow is as well. His damage is good, but he's been pretty quiet, and in these trades, specifically against Davizi, it's not enough for you to get him one hit for somebody else to find the kill. You have to win these trades. You have to be a little bit more prominent in the fight, and this is the amount of aggression we've been missing this entire game. Get in their face for this defense. If you burn 30 seconds here, they have 30 seconds to walk across the map, then maybe 10 seconds in some overtime to be able to find the thing to seal the deal.
Couple unfortunate moments there. Shadow King Bomb walled off from entry for Unbelievable. Remember, Renegades are on defense here, and All Business are fighting just to get back to the payload, and they've at least done that. Kind of to revisit that in Vocal conversation. He's kind of bouncing back and forth for top damage in the game, but it's not quite that overwhelming Victor blowing everyone else out of the water damage.
I'm just saying, if I'm watching Prosper Logic play this Victor right now, it's 150,000 damage on board already. Clean for the Flashpoint
Prediction
boys.
for our fourth set of the day?
You know what? Yeah, actually, I would.
Alrighty.
I'd put some money on that one. I'm excited to see that one come through. But that's kind of the big difference is, he shouldn't be fighting for top damage. He should be so overwhelming in top damage. He should have, if not more kills, more assists, whichever one you want to give him. He needs to have more of an impact on this game. I think this round, towards the end of it, while we've been talking about it, he started to hit a little bit more of his stride. Maybe it's a I switched from Cassie to Victor thing, but it needs to happen, and it needs to start now at 2-2 because someone can win off this next mid.
And just to clarify, he's not having a bad game, but by Invocal standards, it's not what we're used to seeing.
It's not enough to carry Renegades to victory like this.
He is having a good game, but not an Invocal game necessarily. 6-4 and 14, so he is getting some momentum, but Shadow...
He's got a Shadow slash line. Shadow has an Invocal slash line. They've swapped spots.
There you go. Well, they're tied at 2. All Business winning the last mid-fight. Renegades winning the first, both of them with a defense in their back pocket. Full Master Riding for the Renegades. Everyone but Xenost with Master Riding for All Business. Always good to watch. Maybe some dismounts through the gate. He got 3 last time. It's 3 and at least delays Xenost one more time. 3 time and space connects, but no kills.
Going to be able to put, well, I'd say Unbelievable into a bad position, but it doesn't do too much. He gets
That's another one.
That's a good barrage. Toot is incredibly low. You got to get him out of the air. Viral does it.
Viral's able to grab the kill. That's so important. Still going to have the assert dominance. All Business using all of their ultimates, though, and they're not getting any kills. The Renegades are going to storm these gates. The Dome Shield goes down, and All Business are all dead except for Xenost. And these Evil Mojos, they have gone searching every single time for any sort of follow-up.
Resilience 2s this time around, though. That's the biggest thing that wins them that fight. They are able to maintain it. 4 of them got it. Renegade's hero only has tier 1. Either way, it's enough to keep him alive through it. He wasn't the main target. And again, Madara, we said at the beginning, he needed to go big. So far, he has yet to do so.
Moonchopper held on to that overpower very long and then missed it at the last possible moment. Viral just able to save the day there, grab the kill. Davizzy into the Enlightenment, picks off Shadow. A saving grace here for All Business as the health bars continue to crumble. Unbelievable, the last to go down here in this fight and avoid grip. Davizzy tries to slide on in. Madara is going to just jump in, resets the overtime, but nothing to be gained. Renegades, they're on set point.
So much about that was so well done from All Business and from Renegades. That was a good point fight. But at the end of the day, Renegades played it better at the beginning, which paid off for them at the end. Once things got even in terms of fighting, they were ahead and were able to do so. Very good trade from Davizzy, a really, really good Leon player. I'm thinking if I'm looking at this, well, whether they win or lose, whoever you end up facing needs to recognize what you have accomplished so far. That might be something worth banning, make him uncomfortable. You're going to have to weigh that up against it. Madara, unfortunate for him, hasn't been able to fall into the same category this game. Evil Mojos kind of fall into the wayside.
They've been
shots
connecting.
Not really doing too much either.
I feel like they've been hitting, they just haven't been getting the kills. And you mentioned it, I think, good point in the kind of resilience. You pop out of those much quicker. But early on, a couple of the Evil Mojos pre-resilience too were there. Connecting one more does flip the side of Xenost there, but
that was a little to the left. That's a good ult. That comes through, changes the game. Whirlwind up, Whirlwind down, Seismic Crash down. That's opened up the door for Renegades. They could actually get more aggressive now.
They want to win. They're looking to win this game right now. Evil Mojo flies through. Finally a kill on the board. Madara gets the kill onto Hero. Shadow a bit out of position, has to back up, throws down the Grumpy Bomb. All Business are holding on to this one. The Renegades still have a couple of members left, but they're going to back off, slow things down. A minute left to win the set.
So if I just tell you right now, you close your eyes, you don't look at the screen, All Business used 4 ults to find a defense there. You assume I'm talking about the end of the round. There's still 45 seconds on the clock for Renegades to get back in here. Only Barrage readily available, though, so not too much to be able to find this kind of door opening enable to get back to the payload.
He might right here. Gets the kill into the back line onto Madara. One more. Trying to find Davizzy. He does have the Enlightenment to save his life. Doesn't connect on that one. He's low. Hero gets the kill. Down into the shoulder bash. as Toot Toot is looking to rip through the Renegades, but instead it's the Renegades ripping through All Business. The respawns are going to be close. I'm not sure they're going to be in time, Gore. Maybe one last chance here for All Business as they're back in their base. Madara looking to plug some shots in. Xenost way in the back line, but nobody's in range. The Renegades push it in, and they survive and move on in the winner's bracket.
I think Xenost makes an interesting call there. The decision is, do I stay alive for the fight, hope we get overtime, or do I go get overtime? And he made the call for the former. He's like, I need to stay alive. I'm the support. If I go down and we get overtime, we lose if I'm not around, even with this respawn proximity. Fortunately for him, Renegades didn't care where he was. They just killed everything in front of them. The healing wasn't there when they needed it. And even though it's a close call for them, the boys find themselves their 5th win this year.
That's right. And, you know, again, kind of we mentioned it, by the metrics that we're seeding this tournament, this is technically the closest game. The lowest seed Premier League team, the highest seed minor league team. This is expected to be the closest. I don't think it's expected to be this close.
No, a lot of 4-3s. I didn't expect it to go 5 games coming into today either. I would have given you 4 if you had told me that with some sort of clairvoyance.
Yeah.
But impressive, I think, from All Business to hold it as well as they did. I think the biggest downfall is Ice Mines. It's not necessarily anything else. I think it's the fact that Renegades, in a losing position, were able to choose a map that they're very good on, which, admittedly, they only have like 3. It's very, very easy to maybe control them from what we've seen throughout the regular season. You give them Ice Mines, you get death.
Let me ask you a question, kind of emotionally. I know All Business lost, so that's not great. Is it still maybe an emotional win that they took almost all of those games to 6 or 7 points and only lost by 1?
I think it should be, but it's going to be a lot more difficult, I think, to budget it as a win for them because they did so well to get to this point, so it's going to still hurt.
Well, good showing in round 1. They'll have a chance in the losers bracket against the Console Wars losers from yesterday, so don't count All Business out just yet. Renegades, they hang on. They grab a win here in Game 1. Still 3 more sets, so we'll go back to the desk.
Thank you, guys, down there from the Cassius booth. Always a great call, as always. And, yeah, Renegades were able to win that one despite how close it was. All Business definitely gave them a run for their money. Renegades definitely had to step it up, take it a little bit higher to be able to actually win that set. And they're going to need to do a lot more for sure, Kresnik, to be able to continue to try and win these in this bracket.
Yeah, to me, the weakness there at the very end for All Business was just the way they used their ultimates on the mid-fights. There was one point where their sweet combo was like Evil Mojo size
right,
crash.
Yeah, it was
and I
literally
was like, all right.
Yeah, it was
no one's following up.
Yeah.
that won't kill anything. And that's what you have to do. You have to have decisive, quick wins to actually turn these mid-fights on Ice Mines. You have to do it immediately so you can set up that zone as early as possible.
Yeah, I mean, 141,000 from Invocal, 118,000 from Shadow. I mean, once again, these two, this is I can literally just cut it off right there. I could just say they're both names, and you guys would be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? Because, like, look at the slash lives bad. I mean, once again, 13, 4, 21, 14, 5, and 15.
Yeah, no, across the board Renegades. I think the tank line actually did a good job too. You
Hero,
can see Moon 8,
sure.
2, and 27. Hero also up top. This was actually something that I called out. I wanted to see this. You can see this body block. He's looking at Invocal there because it's not important where Unbi is. Where Unbi is there doesn't matter. What matters is that he is directly between Invocal and Unbi. So he just stares at Invocal, mirrors his movement, so not a single shot gets through. You can see the impact that Barrack has on this game. Especially piloted by a player like Hero, sometimes inconsistent, but we can say does perform for his team. I would say definitely outperformed Unbi throughout the match, even on the losing maps, for sure. And on Ice Mines especially, it was just so tough for All Business to really ever get a foothold. And that's what they needed. They just could not fight back enough to find it.
Right. They had to find something, and it wasn't found, at least in the time it needed to be found. I mean, once again, All Business did end up losing that game. They have another chance in the losers bracket, but still, congratulations to Renegades for actually being able to win that. It was a close set, man. Closer than I thought it was going to be, for sure.
It's a good look for All Business in the losers bracket, too.
Is.
They have potential to make a pretty decent run as long as they can learn from what happened today. And also, this is experience, too, right? I mean, maybe they haven't been here in a while. They finally get to play in this LAN setting. Now, if they're only going to get better, that's scary for the rest of the teams in this bracket.
Right, exactly. But we're going to throw it to an interview with both Shadow and Hero. Let's talk to the winners.
That's right, Renegades sitting down here with us. Big congrats to you guys. You win it in 5. A lot of them close, 6, 7 points throughout most of those games. I've seen on Twitter the confidence is there for you guys. What does that do for your mentality to just, you get the first win, you're back in this tournament setting. Where's your mentality stand after this one?
I think the mentality should be pretty good after this because once we got All Business out of the way, that was like the biggest question mark. Next is SSG that we have scrimmed before. We played all year long, and I think we're more confident against them than an unknown EU PML team. It's scary to play them than SSG.
And I mean, you are coming off of this not only EU PML being kind of unknown to you, but also EU PML won the last LAN that we had here. And, you know, we had gotten in an interview with you guys. You had talked about having kind of confidence. You've played in this setting before. It's nothing unfamiliar. Did a lot of that kind of play into keeping your heads going? I mean, 5 games was not really expected, so I'm assuming there's some pressure.
Yeah, I mean, of course we have like the LAN experience, or, you know, we're in PPL, so we have the experience of being here. But I think like the biggest thing was like playing that first map out and like feeling the team and knowing like what we're going to go into. Because like, of course, we're confident going to it, but still, like, so many unknown factors about the team. Like, 2 sub-ins, I don't know what they're going to do. I knew stats about them, but none of that played into effect because they look like a different team. So, yeah, it helped us a lot. I just think the biggest factor was, like, once we got in that first game, really got to feel, like, the momentum going in. Like, I knew first time, like, first game we went to, I knew we'd win. It was, I know.
Yeah, we were trying to get us as well. You know, we watch Bugsy through all the minor league games, so it's definitely a different look for us. For you guys, I imagine much the same as well. We were curious, what was kind of the draft mentality? The map is escaping me, but was it Ascension Peak? You ban out Atlas, they get the Makoa. Was that something you guys just felt prepared to deal with?
Not too much, because like none of that really gets through nowadays. Of course, sometimes it does, but like, I mean, it got through in draft, so. Basically, our mindset was like just give him the Koa. We don't want Atlas to go through. Just grab the Caxi. Of course, it didn't really work out too much, but regardless, we did what we could do.
So Ice Mines has been a map for you guys. Like all year, it's just been one that Renegades has pretty much done better than anyone. The only team I think that rivals that now. Knights have gotten pretty good there. VP's gotten pretty good there. When you're going into Game 5, it's 2-2. Are you a little nervous about it, or when you're like, okay, we'll just go Ice Mines and we'll close this out?
I wasn't nervous because in that map, it's really hard to go up 3-1, and if we don't go up 3-1, we're not going to lose the game.
That was the curse, yeah. But like, yeah, for me, it's like.
So if it's going to go 3-3, we're fine. Just win the next fight. But 3-1, that's the scary. That's the danger zone right there.
Yo, I get BK, it's over. It's all.
I'm going to put you guys on the chopping block here. Kanga versus Hype Unit up next. Lots of conversations around this one. Who do you guys got?
Kanga 3.
Kanga.
They both got Kanga. Congrats to you guys moving on in the winner's bracket. As mentioned, Kanga Hype Unit up next. Stick around.